everyone. Welcome to Schnozzcast, episode 67 for Saturday, April 4th, 2020. Welcome to another pandemic hosted edition. We're all remote. No one can stand each other. Can't stand ourselves. None of us have showered in weeks.
I think that's just you.
We can't stop touching our face. So hopefully everyone out there is doing well, protecting yourself, walking outside with a cardboard box over your head. Don't look at anyone. Don't talk to anybody. Don't answer the phone. Don't answer the door. So without further ado, my remote co-hosts. Let's start with the duo, the dynamic duo, Mr. Cory Schnozzcast and Ms. Danielle Finn.
Oh, hey.
Hello.
How are you there?
Oh, not so bad. And you?
Not so bad. Danielle, you are smiling widely, bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, ready to go?
Ready to go.
All right. Moving counterclockwise around the horn, Mr. Nicholas Bader.
Oh, hello. This is just wonderful.
All right. Any bets on how many minutes it's going to take to get Nick down in the dumps and out of the dumps? That is.
I'll just keep getting better.
Yeah, this is a gradual.
Yeah.
Hockey stick back up to the top.
Yep. I don't know what that means, but
it's a graph that you would use.
All right.
Joe. Are you waiting?
I didn't realize we started.
Are you waiting for your introduction? Mr. Joseph Arguido.
Arguido. How is everybody? Good?
We're all doing
that
well.
was to you guys, not
We're
the
all
audience.
doing well.
Okay.
Yeah, fuck those audience members. Come on. We already asked them
They
once.
can't answer me. You guys
How
can
many
answer
times do we have to ask you how you're doing?
me. Peachy.
All right, so we are live here on Facebook Live. We're also recording this through Zoom, so there might be a bit of a learning curve here as we're a couple of weeks into doing this now. But I think what we're really doing is ironing all the kinks before we start, so that by the time we start, everybody's literally pulling their hair out and ready to go home. So that's where we are.
Loaded to like 35 minutes. That wasn't bad today. Did the intro music sound all pixely to everybody or no? It did on my end. It sounded like shit.
Well, I know on mine it's through the mixer, so I'm all good. But Cory,
right.
that's what I worry about is Cory Facebook Live. I don't know what you thought.
I mean, it'll have to do.
Broke up a little.
Right.
There's a few points where it broke
horrible.
up. I mean, nothing
Not
ridiculous.
horrible.
Right.
Horrible.
I mean, as long as it comes through when you download the audio for all this, it comes through on there. That's and then I can always just dub it over on the video.
That's true. I won't worry about it then. You and your post-production magic.
I do what I can, Bob.
Where's the magic button?
Oh, damn it. All right. We're taking input now from all of our audience members as to what sort of sound should be on the magic button for when the magic happens. And that's whenever I refer to Cory and his post-production prowess.
Bibbidi bobbidi boo. So.
That's actually not a bad one.
Yeah.
It's probably
Disney will come down with you with an iron fist, though.
yeah,
Get out of here.
licensing issue.
Paying us.
All right, so I thought I would really don't have a whole lot of housekeeping today, other than to say, hopefully everybody out there is doing okay. Don't know if you know anybody or have any family members who've been affected by the coronavirus. Hopefully everybody that you know is doing well. Hopefully you're staying the hell away from everybody and not going outside in large groups like there seem to be tons of people doing that. I have no idea why, but so hopefully everybody's doing well. I thought we would focus real quick on just to start with some positive news, as we like to do here. There's enough negative news everywhere about this. So rather than repeating that or making things even more glum, give us a little bit of positive news. So I've got a news story here regarding various scientists, various at-home tinkerers, people who are bringing their ideas to come and help with the shortage of medical supplies, which is pretty cool. So they've got people that are former NASA engineers, pathologists, artists, medical device designers who are working together to try to make some of the things that are in short supply, like ventilators or, just air pumps that use regular supplies that you could find in like an auto parts store or in a hospital supply store. And they're submitting these designs to the medical review boards for different universities, as well as to the federal government, basically offering their assistance and their expertise in trying to make these devices to help the shortage and help our healthcare workers who are, struggling to keep up with the supplies that they get. So there's a particular example of a couple of doctors who are in Texas. They're in the middle of testing out a prototype, which is a simple air pump that uses blood pressure cuffs and car valves. And they're really optimistic that it's going to do the job and can be made cheaply with parts that are generally fairly easy to get. The FDA is the one who generally needs to bless any of the designs that are submitted, but they are being very flexible in evaluating some of the newly created devices, some of the new gear. There was a university in South Carolina where they developed, in the space of 2 weeks, they developed a 3D printed plastic valve that would allow 2 patients rather than 1 to be sustained in a single ventilator. So they were approved within 2 weeks. So it's one of those situations where it takes a village and people are sort of coming together to try to combat the spread of this virus. It's sort of like a hive mind, if you will. So lab at Stanford University, clinically testing a full face respirator that uses a snorkel mask. There's a swimming goggle company, a company that produces swimming goggles, trying to produce eyewear that could be customized to fit a nurse's face. There's different sewing circles that are cropping up all over the globe. Just most of them centered around trying to make surgical masks. And apparently one woman has come up with a respirator mask that uses a bra, coffee filters, and citric acid. So they're really pulling out all the stops here, which is great to see. So thought I'd start off with some positive news, fellas and ladies.
Positive news? I know you're talking about everybody, all these companies making things. I know Henry Ford is doing like a clinical trial with a drug that they think might help. That's usually used for malaria, I think it was.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome news. Joe, your thoughts?
I think it's a great idea. Well, yeah, I mean, it's always good that they're figuring stuff out. And it's nice to see that, or it's nice to hear that people are actually taking this seriously. But I was going to say, when you said that it takes a village, but unfortunately there's always a fucking village idiots that are not taking shit seriously, That's all I got, Bob. I don't know.
No, that's
you
great.
caught me off guard. I was looking up something.
Well, and it was for a reason, because the listeners don't know that right before we started recording, all I could hear from you was, "Can we get this shit going? What is taking so long? I've been waiting for 30 minutes to start this podcast."
Honestly, Bob, when you asked me, I was going to dump all over that story, but I figured I'd keep it lighter. I'm just kidding. I wasn't going to do that.
No, but you came in strong at the end.
No, that's good. I'm glad that we're actually taking this seriously, not being idiots about it.
What's your experience been, Joe, as far as dealing with the public on a daily basis? And how are people, or do you feel like people aren't treating this as seriously as they should?
Oh, most definitely. I mean, we have multiple signs up in the windows, big signs too. Notice our lobby is closed and people still come up and yank. I won't mention, but they'll come up and yank on the door, and then they throw their arms up in the air and they're like, "Whoa, whoa." And then you're like, we got a mouth through the windows that they have to call us and we're pointing at the signs. I actually had a guy get quite
I was going to say, Jack told me the story about that, and I obviously don't know the gentleman's name, so I think we can hide under the cloak of anonymity here, but this is what he told me. You tell me how close this is to the real thing.
Yeah.
So we ordered dinner tonight. It's Cecilia's 21st birthday. Happy birthday to my daughter.
How's she feeling?
She felt really good today. Remember she went to bed last night. She started drinking a little early before the stroke of midnight. It was probably about 10:30. But about 10 minutes after 1, she's like, I think I'm going to go to bed, which I thought was really grown up because
very responsible.
Right. There's no way I would have gone to bed at 10 after 1.
Hell no. I would have been up the whole day.
Yeah.
The
So
whole night.
she got up this morning about 8:45 and yeah, she was fine. But we got dinner tonight and a cake and tried to celebrate her birthday. So I got curbside service from Antonio's. That was what she really wanted. They have great spaghetti carbonara. It's her favorite.
Nice.
So with most restaurants, I guess I shouldn't say most. I know with this one, I was pleased to see they're like, okay, we're not doing pickup. We're doing either delivery or curbside service. So I'm like, great, I'll do the curbside. So I placed my order and they said, well, you know, you're going to pay by credit card, right? And I said, yeah. So I read them off my number and then went to pick it up and I told them what kind of car I was driving and they came right out and gave it to me. And that was that. Really easy.
Mm-hmm.
And then Jack got home and told me the story about work. And I'm like, why? I don't get it. So first of all, I don't want to have to pay in cash. I don't want to have to get change from you. I don't want a receipt. I just want the bags of my food and I'm no problem in giving my credit card to you because I called you to make my order. You're going to ask me for my credit card and I'm going to give it to you. And that should be the end of that transaction. The only thing left is you giving me my food.
Oh.
But it sounds like some people are still not on board with paying by credit card over the phone and they want to pay in cash.
Lots of people.
I'm guessing they're mostly older people who maybe are a little wary still in 2020 about paying with a credit card over the phone, maybe?
I don't know, Bob. There's young people too in there. I mean, I had to get very angry at the guy.
Well, here's my question to you. Suppose the story went that he showed up, you went to bring his food out or maybe went to get his money first and he tried to pay cash and you had to be called as the manager to come out and talk to this guy who was upset when he was told like we don't accept cash.
Oh yeah.
Which makes sense to me. I'm like, that's what you should do. But and then you came out and he tried to basically pay you off with like a $100 bill for the food.
Well, no, what he said was like, he's like, I think this is ridiculous. He says, so if you were walking and you found a $100 bill on the ground, you wouldn't pick it up. And that's when I lost it on it because I'm not putting up with shit, and I don't.
Well, tell me what you said.
Well, I mean, I didn't swear at him or anything, but I said, that has nothing to do with anything. I said, we're not going to take cash anymore. I'll take your cash this time. But I got like very loud and very angry at him. It was just some old guy. He was like 60 years old.
Right.
You know, but then there's people that are like, oh, I don't.
So hold on before you move on. So when he placed his order, didn't somebody tell him on the phone like we don't accept cash?
Oh well, his wife placed the order, and she was a bitch. Okay.
Well, did someone tell this bitch that you don't accept cash?
Oh yeah, but she sent her husband there, and I remember his order was $27.52, and he showed up there with like he fanned out his money. He's like, well, I'm gonna have to drive back home and get more money. There was like $16 in his hand or something like that.
He didn't even have money?
No, not even close.
So why did you take his money if he didn't have enough?
No, he went back home and got more money.
Oh, okay.
But we tell him, I'm like, I'm not bringing you change, and you better put it in a plastic bag for me. They don't, I don't know, Bob. I can't figure it out. It's like an inconvenience for them because I'm trying to keep my workers and myself safe. You know,
well, I don't mean to question your business practice. I'm sure there's a reason, but why not just take his order and then immediately follow with you need to pay now by credit card?
Because this was like, I think this was on Monday, maybe, or Tuesday. Because we were still on the fence about that. We weren't sure if we were taking, we were really trying to push credit cards, but then if people did have cash, some people just show up and that's all they have, and I'm not going to send them packing. I'll take it.
Oh, I see. Okay.
But this is a day by day thing. It changes day by day. So if it gets worse, which it will, then we're absolutely not taking. And it depends on the customer. If you're a reasonable person, or if I tell you over the phone that we're only taking credit cards curbside only, and then you go ape shit on me, I'm not going to do shit for you. If you're reasonable, I'll probably take your cash. But if you're going to be a dick, I'm not taking your cash, which most people are.
So let's assume you take his cash. Then what do you do with that cash? Do you like wash it with soap and water? Or what do you?
No, I just we glove up and I put it in the drawer, and only the managers count the drawers.
So no one else is going to touch that money unless they got gloves on?
Yeah.
You see, at some
No.
point, someone's got to touch the money.
Yeah, but we're counting it with gloves. We have gloves on. That's the only thing I can do.
Okay. So what goes into the safe at the end of the night is just a bundle of virus-ridden bills.
Oh no, Bob, we barely take any, maybe 2 or 3 a day. But that's all I can do. What am I going to do to it?
No, it's a tough position to be in because you don't want to turn away customers, but at the same time, you got to lay out the rules, and if they're not going to follow them, what are you going to do other than
just think of it like this? It's just like if you're still going to the grocery store and you're wearing gloves, you don't know if Kroger cleaned their shopping carts or not. We're hoping they did, but you don't know if they did.
Oh no,
not.
somebody is
I doubt
standing.
they did.
No, we went to Kroger today and somebody is standing in like the cart area. They give you the cart, they spray it down.
And this is a Kroger worker.
Yeah.
They have the brain capacity of a
oh boy.
4-year-old.
Hey, now, hold on. We might have some Kroger workers in our audience here.
Not every one. I'm saying.
Oh, I see.
The cart wiping guy probably has a brain capacity of a 4-year-old.
Sanitizer bottle, paper towel, and they wipe down each cart.
Well, that's great, but you don't know. They wipe it down, but you don't know if they're hitting it properly. You don't know if they're wiping down enough. You don't know. That's the thing.
Joe, there's germs everywhere.
I understand that.
Okay.
Ooh, that was a bold comment, but okay. There are germs everywhere? Guys, I got to go.
It doesn't matter if you have on gloves in the store or not. I mean, everybody's touching everything.
So
yeah, I was reading about this too. That even if you went to Kroger with surgical gloves and an N95 mask, right? There's still no guarantee that you're not going to get germs because simply the act of putting the gloves on and then taking them off is really tough to do without. Somebody posted a video on Facebook today about a nurse literally showing you how difficult it is to remove your gloves and keep the virus, if there's any virus on it, to keep it off of yourself. Well, not to mention the fact that you're constantly touching your wallet, your purse, your phone, all of those things.
And I mean, the only way you're going to not spread it either is every time you grab something off the shelf is you have to change your gloves.
Yeah, exactly. There'd be mountains of used gloves everywhere because I see people take them off and throw them on the ground in our parking lot.
Yep.
So that's how careless people are.
There were gloves in the Kroger parking lot today too.
Yeah. Oh, they're everywhere.
People are savages.
They are. They don't get
trying to wind Joe up.
No, it's like when you're driving down the road through your neighborhood coming home or something, like you just see a big bag of food that somebody chucked out the window. They didn't drop that. They blatantly took their food and whipped it out the fucking window. Who does that? A piece of shit does that.
Savages.
Exactly. I don't want to pick that crap up that's in front of my house right now because you're a friggin' word I won't use.
Savage.
No, it was worse than savage.
I know. I was trying to
much worse than savage.
Nick, what about you? We haven't heard from you in a little bit. What's your experience been with the public, and are people taking it seriously? What are some of the challenges you're having to deal with?
Yeah, I feel for the most part people are taking it seriously. I think the part that I have witnessed that I like the most is that people are coming together. It's cliche to say, after some kind of tragedy or a huge event like this that, people always come together, but it really is true. And it's just nice to see the community outreach that's been going on in regards to us as first responders and healthcare, and everybody out there that's essential right now is just helping each other, and people from home are helping them. And I think it's if there's anything positive to take out of this, that would probably be it.
Cool. Joe, you wanted to be recognized as one of those.
Damn right I do. No, I'm just kidding.
I added essential.
Thank you.
I have a dumb question. My one dumb question of the podcast. Hey, Cory, I'm looking at a window. I've got 5 windows in the Zoom session. One of them is for Facebook Live, or labeled Facebook Live.
Yeah, that was the only kind of issue with your proposed idea of having the GoPro or a camera stationary on my iPad, because I have to pull up a like it said that like my iPad's actually in the meeting right now. So
Right.
the one thing I was able to do is I can stop the video for it. So you're not seeing just a image of what is behind the camera.
Right.
And I'm able to eliminate off the screen that we're watching. So we only see 4 of us. But
Okay.
since the iPad is what is the source of that, it's basically in the meeting with us. It's just we can't see it right now on the iPad. That little screen pops up. So
Okay, but now you're able to get like a front on full, not like slanted or tilted view of the Zoom session for Facebook Live.
yeah, well, you'll see it's got a little fisheye to it because the Facebook Live on the GoPro is the wide view,
Right.
But it's one centered screen, and it's just all dark around the edges, and that's that.
Awesome. I'm glad that worked. I didn't even have a chance to ask you about it, but I assumed that everything was cool.
Yeah, so I mean, so far it looks pretty good. So hopefully the audio's coming through. As a matter of fact, we got Scotty, Gina, and Alan in the room. So if you guys can give a thumbs up about the audio on the Facebook Live and let me know, because like I said, it's just my GoPro sitting in front of my iPad. So hopefully it's picking up good audio for everyone.
Thanks for taking care of that, buddy.
I aim to please, Bob. Aim to please.
Capable hands. Cory Schnozzcast's capable hands. Anyone else have anything they'd want to share regarding the virus before we move on to lighter topics?
I think we can move on at any point from the.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead, Joe.
I kind of do.
Can I say something?
Okay, here we go. Here it is.
There's a bunch of crap floating around that there. I didn't click on it. I didn't read it because I don't like reading news.
Sounds like you're the best person to expound it then.
No, but apparently they're gathering new intelligence that this virus was created in a Hunan viral lab.
Yeah, that's been debunked, dude.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, "See, I told you," and I'm like, "Shut up."
Let's be the one podcast that doesn't spread misinformation.
I didn't. I just said that's what I saw. Okay. That's why I don't click on crap like that.
All right.
Just comment on it.
Right. Just comment on it and put it out there for the world to hear.
Right. All right, Cory. I may have started maybe a minute or two early, but I'm at like 24 or something. So
is it that time already?
Might be that time.
All right. Well,
yeah, time flies when you're talking about pandemics.
Clearly.
Just so you guys are aware, too, we are on Instagram Live as well.
What the hell you say? How'd you pull that off? You goddamn sorcerer, you.
Those are my sorcery fingers. It doesn't matter. No one's really watching, so it doesn't really matter. But a lot of people came in and saw that they didn't like it and then left.
I'm going to assume that was while I was talking.
As is the motto of this podcast. Yeah, I came in, I saw it, and I like it, so I left.
One person actually came in the room and said, "Robert sounds like a Disney trailer voiceover."
A good radio voice, Bob.
Is that a compliment or is that a put down?
I think it's kind of backhanded.
I think it's a
It might be.
compliment, I think.
I might be.
I like it. Will you take it?
He was born.
I have a choice?
Nope.
I don't think I have a choice. All right. So I need probably 30 seconds to go grab my fireball.
Because you're older.
I might as well.
No, because I need to get a shot glass and the fireball.
Oh, okay. What else? What are we doing? Right out of the bottle, like heathens?
I'm not above that.
I don't know what kind of magic keeps on happening, but Danielle's like the mother in Bewitched. She just kind of keeps disappearing.
Just like every once in a while, it's just her face.
I'm barely even moving, and I just keep going out.
You know what would stop that? If you took that artificial background off.
You know, it would be nice if Cory would spend a little bit of his time when he's off taking a large piece of plywood and spray painting it neon green and hanging it behind you guys.
Oh,
I'm very sure that's what she wants in the living room.
Yes.
Well, it would be mobile. You could move it.
It's already enough stuff to move during this remote podcast.
There'd be dog claw marks all over it.
Oh, they're both passed out right now. Until Cory gets up to go get his shot.
and I'm back. Yeah, just like like a savage, like a goddamn savage. I'm going to drink it right out of the bottle. This is what you do. This is what people do. Walk around the house by yourself. Are you going to get a glass for that glass of milk, or are you just going to drink it right out of the carton? Let's be honest.
Alan says the reason that you sound so good is your $20 microphone.
He's not wrong. He's not wrong.
A lot of Bob compliments tonight.
Oh yeah, I'm getting it from every angle tonight.
Bob, say in your best Disney trailer voice, he was born to be king.
In a world.
Born in a world.
Full of magic and wonder. One man against all odds.
Bastion never thought that they would go that route. Has to be some crazy Disney name.
Oh, like Sebastian, or
yeah.
I'm trying to think of another Disney name. Hercules. I guess that's not really a Disney name, but
Peter Pan.
Bell. Well, that's pretty.
Bell. That's savage. Gaston.
Gaston. Yeah.
Gaston. There you go.
What, did you have word of the day toilet paper today, Joe?
Hey, what?
Did you have word of the day toilet paper? What's with the savage thing?
I don't know.
You've said it like 7 times since the podcast started.
I think I put that earworm into his brain.
No, it's freaking Joe Rogan did that. He's always like, it's savage, and so is a savage. Savage fighter, and I'm just like, stop.
Why does it take Cory so long to do everyday life things?
I've never witnessed a human being kick himself in the balls more than Nick. You will never get a free pizza out of me ever again.
He didn't say anything bad about you. He was just talking about Cory.
No, when he was telling us, I used the word savage too much.
You know, it sounds like when you're saying it sounds too forced. It's kind of like when a parent's trying to sound young.
Oh, hey, I'm hip.
Hey, you guys, you want some pizza? Isn't this cool?
Isn't it cool?
All right, no.
Oh, dude, at work too. I zing the kids every once in a while, but it was like they're I don't get it. I don't mean to interrupt. Can I interrupt? Okay. Yeah.
We do a shot.
Oh yeah. I get it.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, doing another Schnozzcast shot.
I went and got better stuff.
Other way.
And the swill I was drinking.
Everybody out there on Facebook Live, Gina, Scott, and whoever else. I forgot the third name. Alan. God damn it. I'm too old to keep more than 2 names straight.
It's not hard to keep our audience remember.
Yeah, you should be able to rattle off 3 names, right? All right. Here's to
Steven.
Woo! That was a Don Hendricks shot right there.
What he can't get comes
Woo!
or he does when he comes back.
So Alan did text me while we were getting the shots, his green screen to egg us on about that.
Alan, buddy, I appreciate that, but every time you send a text, it costs me money. That's not even true. It doesn't cost me money. It's just a potential check that somebody in the Schnozzcast has to write.
I'm sure they have like a spandex like green screen, one of those really light ones that you could probably mount behind you.
I would think that the software you should be able to just paint it any solid color and then match that color using the software to whatever color you want to make invisible, and that should be it.
Well, right, but and that would work for all of us. I think the green screen would work the best for most people, except when Cory wears one of his neon-colored Under Armour shirts. It might
That's a problem. You never know what color he's going to wear. It's always a color. It's always a solid color.
Just be my head.
Yeah.
All right, so I thought we'd do after our shot a little virtual edition of Danielle's Word Box.
Oh boy, are you going to text her a word?
I'm going to text it to Cory.
And forget the story that Joe was telling before Nick interrupted me.
There's always a story that you're telling.
We're going to park that story for a second. So
No,
actually, we
no.
don't. No, Corey, hold on to that text. Don't show her yet. Let's go.
It was dumb. I was just kidding.
It was dumb. Okay, never mind. Go ahead.
I was like, why are you offering to talk
If you
about
would've
this?
saw it.
Because the text came across.
So if you're new to the podcast, Danielle's Word Box is a tongue twistery type of a word game where essentially Danielle's going to try to pronounce the word that we generally try to make a little on the difficult side, and then we get the added bonus afterward of Cory looking up the dictionary definition of the word. We all get to learn something, and we all get a little laugh. And Danielle's always a good sport, and it's kind of born out of something happened a long time ago with a little sh sound on the word that we try to play off of. So, Cory, did you get my text?
I did.
All right. So Danielle's got her word.
No, I don't.
Gina says no one cares, Joe.
That's something?
I'm not surprised I can't.
Danielle's word is.
Oh.
Sorry?
Okay. I didn't know we were still. The computer screen went black, and I thought we had lost you guys.
Oh, no, we're still here.
Wampenschaing?
I'm sorry, was that Chinese?
Sounds German.
I don't fucking know.
Wampenschein?
Wampenschein?
Yeah, I'm going to say that's about as close as it's going to get.
That's probably as close as we're going to get, too. A valiant effort.
Say it with a German accent, Danielle.
No.
Nick, let me text it to you as being probably the most German.
Yeah, it is. It's a German word.
Okay.
I'm German, too.
Yeah, let's not say probably, because I definitely am the most German.
So if you had to take a guess on what Wampenschaing is,
Nick, I texted it to you. See if you got it, and maybe you can give it a shot.
It's not pronounced like that, but hold on.
All right, he's looking.
So, are you missing some umlauts here?
Not to my knowledge.
No umlauts.
No?
Hey, Nick, what was your mother's maiden name?
Oh, yeah, sure. That makes sense. Let's just say that.
And it's actually, and there's a correction on that. It's actually not.
Any credit card info, Joe? Any credit card info? My phone number?
What?
Address? So,
Oh my God!
It's not. It's actually not a German word, so don't pronounce it like you're German.
Oh,
Oh, it is Chinese.
It's a Scottish word.
Scottish. Ooh. Scottish.
Wampenschaing.
Is it slang or is it an actual word?
It's an actual word.
Cory, you got a definition for our eager audience?
I do. It's a Scottish word and it means it's an inspection or muster of soldiers formerly held at various times in each district of Scotland. How you came up with that, I have no fucking idea. But
you want to know? I'll tell you.
I mean, I would hope there's a story behind it.
Oh, it's fascinating. I literally went onto Google and I did a search for difficult words starting that contain SCH. And it took me literally 30 seconds.
Yeah, I was going to say it must have taken 15 seconds.
Well, any word that contains the text string that's pronounced showing, you gotta go for that one.
Oh, of course. Now I say we make it.
Or back me up here, please.
Oh yeah, absolutely. If you're going to do this, keep doing this to Danielle.
Mm-hmm.
I think that Bob should have to old school and actually look through the dictionary, an actual dictionary, no Googling.
I don't know that I have an actual.
Oh, you do. Everybody does.
Do they?
So, I do.
Okay, so Joe does.
Okay, I still do have one in my closet.
Aha!
Oh, do you really?
I do.
You know, I probably do too. I'm not sure where the hell it is, but back from when I was in 5th grade.
Webster's dictionary?
Yeah, I'm sure it's a red leather bound.
I was gonna say they probably updated it a couple times since your 5th grade days.
No. Words have not changed since I was in 5th grade. Everything's exactly the same.
Well, they've added stuff to it, is what I'm saying.
No, they've not added anything. No, everything's exactly the same.
They've added internet
That's not-
words
that's
now.
actually-
Words are exactly the same as they
YOLO.
were in 1983.
But there's a lot of additions.
Are there though?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Isn't it? Aren't 10 words a year added to the dictionary?
I think so.
Yeah, that's fake news. Those are all made up words.
I think so.
I don't believe.
Everything's fake news to Bob. Coronavirus was
No one hates the term.
viral. That's fake news.
No one hates the term fake news more than me, which why it makes me laugh so much to keep using it as an excuse. So I'll continue to do so. Oh, first Schnozzcast yawn of the evening.
That was the second one.
Damn it!
I'd say yeah, you missed out on the first one.
I'm sliding off my game here, Nick. You gotta help me out.
Yeah.
I can't be the only one looking.
That's a lot.
Oh fuck! Yeah, you're way off, Bob.
Am I?
Yeah.
The Oxford English Dictionary added 1,100 new words in 2018. The Merriam-Webster Dictionary added 840 new words in 2018.
Damn.
Okay.
And Wiktionary adds thousands of words every month.
Did you say Wiktionary?
Yes.
Is that a thing?
It's
Okay.
like the wiki version of it.
Wikipedia.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I wouldn't necessarily trust Wiktionary over the
No.
two tried and trusted Oxford and Merriam.
I was going to say, when you guys go to look something up online, where do you go? I generally tend to hit just dictionary.com.
Oh, I just Google everything.
Okay.
I'm going to say everything I got to do with dictionary.com.
Okay. Okay.
You're saying 2018 was a big year for words.
Oh man. Okay,
Okay.
Like it.
Corey, I got a question. Do you still have it up?
Yeah.
What are some of the words they
Right? Boom!
What are some of the words they added last year? Are they like internet words now, or are these?
Well, actually,
That was a big one.
so in 2019, some of the new additions, one was Stan.
Stan.
Yeah, Stan just.
Stan.
One was Salutogenesis.
That's.
Oh, man. I love that word.
I love that band. I love Saluto.
I love that disease.
Yeah, it's when Phil Collins sings salsa music.
There you go. There you go. Nick Bader for the win. Nick Bader for the win.
Gig economy. Qubit.
Miss Buzzy.
No, Qubit has been around since I was a kid.
How do you
Cubans?
how do you spell it?
Cubit?
Nope. Qubit.
What does it mean?
Quibbit.
Garbage time was another one.
Why is garbage time even a thing?
I don't know.
Yeah, I think Qubit is different than Quid. Would you say, Nick? Quibbit?
Quibbit. Playing a lovely game of Quibbit.
It's a
And he's back. Nick Bader's back, ladies and gentlemen.
it's a quantum bit.
A quantum bit. Okay. Yeah, that's definitely a new word and different than Qubit.
The
Okay.
quantum version of the classical binary bit physically realized with a two-state device.
Of course. That's, yeah.
I mean, it makes
Just
plenty of
as
sense.
expected.
It makes
Just
plenty
as
of
I
sense.
Yeah, that was my first guess. Yes.
Whatever you say, man in purple.
Guy in hat.
I
Man
feel like
in purple with all the answers.
that first shot really kind of loosened things up a little bit. We're rolling now.
That would be a great gift for Corey. Buy him a super soft, very expensive T-shirt that fits him really well, and just put "Man in Purple" on the front of it.
He doesn't like. I don't know if he likes soft shirts.
He likes those cotton tri-blend ones, right?
He
No,
likes.
no, not cotton.
he likes-
No
Are you
cotton, nothing.
fucking out of your mind?
No,
What
no,
do
he
you
likes.
wear?
He doesn't like soft shirts. He likes slippery shirts.
The dry fit.
Slippery Pete.
100%
Yeah.
polyester.
Joe, Corey likes those
Okay.
burlap shirts. He's a big fan of the burlap shirt.
That's polyester shirt you're wearing, Corey?
Yes.
It's like getting a
100%.
back scratch all over.
Yeah, why polyester? Is you
Whoa.
sweat too much?
He doesn't.
Corey's big on any kind of material that's hydrophobic.
Yeah, it wicks away all of the moisture from the exercise he's not getting.
Right.
I had to walk today.
So when there's a
To
little
walk.
when there's a little Sprite and vodka dribble that trickles through the beard. it just bounces right off the shirt.
Oh, yeah, it hits that shirt. It goes, boing.
Yep.
Right on.
I'm not sure if I sweated today, but if I did, it was wicked away immediately.
And
If
that
there
is
was
why I wear polyester shirts.
If there's a not so well placed yawn while he's chewing, and some barn dirt falls out of his mouth, it bounces right off that shirt.
Is it possible to yawn while you got to dip in?
Yeah.
Is it really?
Of course.
Yeah, okay, Daniel.
Learn something new every day.
That's a new addition there, Nick.
Speaking of which,
I'm
That's-
leaving.
We were doing it. I was doing it last night. And Bob was in tears. He's like, "I've never seen the physical Cory before. I've always seen the Cory. Always heard the Cory voice. I didn't know this must be something you've added to your repertoire."
Oh my God! Yeah, I was dying.
Spot on, Nick. Spot on.
Oh, yeah.
Corey, you're missing.
Corey.
You're missing
I
you.
just got like a death look from the other side of the
Yeah, no, he's.
God.
There's a reason why he stepped away.
Oh yeah.
Cory, you know we love you. You only hurt the ones you love, as they say.
I love you. Don't look at me like that.
Here comes the Keurig.
Oh man.
He's like, "If it didn't take me so long to waddle back over there, I'd hit you." Do you think the flip flops slow him down, or they add some sort of speed?
Well, they got
Nothing adds speed. Nothing adds speed.
I don't think anything could slow him down more.
Flip flop as a shoe, as a piece of footwear, is not designed to add speed. It's designed to add comfort and a feeling of air hitting your feet for people who don't like their feet to be constricted by normal things like socks or shoes.
Do you think if I got him like an orange colored shirt with like kind of ripped off sleeves and a ripped off bottom and black spots all over it, he would wear it?
No.
Doubt
I
it.
think there's a dad joke coming at the end of this, so I'm just going to say,
Flintstone.
I
No,
don't
I'm
know.
just, just something moisture wicking, but in the pattern of Fred Flintstone.
Oh, there you go. Tattered.
Look, I watched the Flintstones religiously when I was a kid, and Fred had some wheels. Fred could move.
He had to.
Yeah,
He had to power that car.
That car flew.
Exactly. And he had to tiptoe up to throw the bowling ball.
Yeah.
Anytime Cory drives away, like leaves my house, I just envision that there's a hole cut out in the bottom of his car, and he's just going like that.
It's like, whatever, you motherfucker.
sorry, I'm responding to Krabby.
Oh, okay. I thought there was.
All right, then. Yeah, forget about the podcast.
I thought you were having a meltdown.
Oh, that's coming.
So I do want to say, you fellas put up a fine show last night, but were ultimately bested by the old man in the music trivia.
Yeah,
That was stacked.
you should explain to everybody what happened with that.
I got some good ones.
Yeah, you did, Danielle.
I did.
We were just blowing off some steam. It had been a long week, and we knew we were going to podcast tonight, but we said, "What the hell? Let's anybody up for a Zoom session?" And we're just chit chatting, and Nick got the bright idea of doing music trivia. And it was one of those things like, raise your hand. I'll look through the at the Zoom session and through the video, see if I can spot who puts their hand up first, and you get a shot to guess. And best out of 15, or first to 15, and the elder statesman of the podcast pulled off the win.
And I think it was one of those things at first where everyone was kind of like, yeah, sounds kind of cool. Yeah, maybe we should. And then, I feel like even Cory was starting to get into it towards the end. Like it started getting pretty competitive.
Yeah, it was fun. I enjoyed that.
And the reason why it was fun was because, and I'm giving you all the credit in the world here, because I think you looked at the score from time to time and tried to make sure that that it wasn't all like favoring Joe with 70s rock songs,
I
or
fucking knew it. So he stacked everything.
more favoring Cory, who was with Danielle, for country songs. So he tried to make sure it was fairly even and competitive.
There was a lot of country compared to 70s music on there.
I just couldn't. I couldn't.
Country.
A lot of country.
I couldn't believe with.
Look at her getting offended. I'm joking, Danielle.
I can't believe in an intelligent group of adults and Cory that you guys weren't able to get Boys to Men on Bended Knee.
I knew it was Boys to Men. I just didn't know what the song was.
And there was for those out there listening, there was a lot of hand raising, and then the second it was time to guess, it was, oh yeah,
I did that a lot. I know I did.
I just love that. Joe was kind of like if I was the judge and he was the magistrate, or I was the chef and he was the sous chef. Joe was a good tiebreaker because Joe would just shit all over everything. He'd be like, nope, no point.
That's bullshit. You can't just throw up your hand and then be like, oh, I'm going to have time to think, because then you get time to think.
Joe's like,
if you throw up your hand, then you have like 10 seconds to think about it.
Yeah, but
right?
you only got 5 seconds. You only got 5 seconds.
Well, 5 seconds.
And then you don't get a second guess. Like, if you don't get it in 5, like, you have to step back and then someone else gets a shot. And there was at least one time where a half guess, where one of us guessed the artist but not the song, that then the next person got to, they at least got one piece of the two things, piece of information they needed to provide. So they got kind of a leg up, or maybe they wouldn't have known it. So it all works out in the end.
It works out when you win, Bob. It works out in the end. Oh yeah, because you fucking won, didn't you?
I defy you to show that there was any favoritism, sir.
About that. Nick did it because he knows it would have pissed me off.
What's that?
It's like, I'm going to keep Joe right behind Bob and then give him the win right at the end. I'm like, damn it.
You guys were very close. I think Bob knew it was time for him to go to bed, so he kicked it into full gear.
There you
go. With sleepy eyes, I'm like, here we go. We just got to get this shit to put it to bed.
I loved a couple times when Bob's like,
you're on cannibal.
And I'm like, yeah, Bob. You're like,
I want to go to bed.
I don't know. But here's the thing. The source of Bob's musical powers slowly dwindles as the night goes on, because sobriety is the key to unlock all the intelligence that's in between those two headphones right there.
Absolutely.
But the more he drinks, the suckier he gets at any kind of music or guessing music or anything. Oh yeah, man, this is we found that out in the basement karaoke during before we got
I can't even read anymore.
I couldn't even remember words to songs that I had been singing for 20 years to myself.
So Bob lost the ability to read. We were singing karaoke.
Yeah. We've got we're down in the basement. Party lights are going. It's dark. We've got the mixers, everything set up. It's after the podcast or a day after the podcast, and it's like, hey, let's just all put our headphones on and be jackasses and sing music really loud. So that made sense at the time before the stay-at-home order. And so we thought, okay, well, we're going to sing as if we have really good voices, and none of us do.
Yeah.
But we want to hear how great we don't sound. So let's put these headphones on and sing into these microphones. So that's what we did. And one of the songs that after there was several sheets going into the wind, I looked at Bob and I said, what's something we can sing together? And he's like, you couldn't have told Bob that he was not in a professional recording studio at that point in time. I mean, the headphones are on. He's right next to the mic.
I was like Michael Jackson in We Are the World. I'm like this. I'm like, yes, bitch, I'm in this now.
He's got a look in his eyes like a dog right before you open the door, like he's just staring, just ready to go and get that squirrel, And so I said, how about 1 Week by Bare Naked Ladies? Yes, I know that song. Let's do it.
Yeah, I can rap like white men rap.
Oh my God! And it started, and Hold It Now, Watch the Hoodwink, and I think after that, and
I don't even think I got that far.
No, why don't I know the words? What is going on? I know the words to this song.
Brain, work.
Finally, he took the headphones off, and he's like, "It's all you, man. I don't know what's going on with me, but I can't remember any of the words to this song."
I was like an Olympic athlete who walked up to the starting line and was just like, I think my leg's broken. I'm not sure. I thought I could run this race, but clearly I have no business being in this race at all.
I forgot how to run.
I forgot how to jump.
What kind of lives are these?
Yeah. Right.
Oh,
So, yeah. It was a good time, though.
good times.
Fun, yeah.
Good
Let's do
times.
that again.
Oh, I remember the days when we could have physical contact with each other.
Oh, yeah.
Eventually.
Didn't know how good we had it.
I prefer this, to be perfectly honest.
Well, I don't know how true that is.
I can fart to my heart's content.
Dude,
But
that never stopped you. Never stopped you.
To quote Joe last night,
No, I said I wanted to give you all hugs. Yeah,
I
know where
don't
you're going.
care what happens. I just can't wait till this is over so I can give every one of you fuckers a big, big hug.
That is.
I was,
very-
I was serious about. No, I was serious about that.
Yeah, and he was very dead serious. Like he was almost angry while he was saying it.
It is. I mean, I'm bored. You know,
And
I'm bored. I want to hug
I
all
want
of
to hug you because I'm bored.
Danielle,
hugging us is
you-
the answer.
you just talked your way out of a free hug.
Now it's going to cost you.
A very grabby hug too.
Oh.
I'm going to be very aware next time.
I talked to myself out of it.
Come here, baby.
I'm going to be very aware next time you hug me, Joe.
What'd you
Oh,
say?
Joe's gonna give himself.
I'm going to be very aware next time Joe hugs me.
Well, I'm gonna get myself shot. Did you say?
Yes.
Why?
Grabby hugs.
Oh, I'm kidding.
Corey, what's that on your thigh?
You
Is
shoot
that
me for hugging Danielle and being too grabby.
That Joe's cell phone in his pocket?
This man does not need a gun. You looked at her the wrong way. Bam!
I want to hug you because I'm bored is a good foundation for any relationship, I
Yeah,
feel.
right. Come here, I guess.
Yeah.
Think
Nothing
how
better to
busy,
do.
just think how busy divorce attorneys will be after this.
Oh yeah, right.
Oh
Yeah.
wow, Joe, you even got a Gina will even give you a hug.
Oh, good.
She
We're
hates-
virtual, and she hates me. Yeah, that's amazing.
She hates me so much. It's irresistible.
Somebody hates me that I've never met before.
You know what, Jerry? I hate her so much. Irresistible.
You want a piece of me? God, it's freaking hot in here.
Oh, boy.
Oh boy! First it's the hug talk. Now it's too hot in here. I might
Yep.
have to take my shirt off.
You know it is pretty bad when Joe wants to get on the Zoom call and use technology. The guy that can't figure any bit of technology out.
No, he's been all over trying to like get his snowball mic and do I sound better? Like I'll be there. And this is the second night in a row for Joe, which I think is a first.
Danielle,
I heard my name.
Yes.
I seriously kind of forgot you were here
Thanks.
and was just focused on Cory's screen for a second, and you scared the fucking shit out of me when you just all of a sudden, boom, you appeared, and I was like, ah! It was like an apparition.
I'll be fine, and then I disappear, and then I kind of move, and my head kind of floats back in, and
I think a little pee came out, seriously.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, well.
Too bad you don't have any of that wicking technology out there to take care of that pee.
Soaks right into the jeans.
Polyester underwear.
Right into the denim. Remember, speaking of pee, remember Corey's pee shorts last night?
Oh yeah. Oh. Burn those, Cory. right in the camera too.
That was from holding my cup right in.
You said it was a shadow cast by.
I said it was a shadow because it looked like a shadow on
Daniel
mine.
says a shadow. He just came back from going to the bathroom and needs to fix something with his crotch right in the camera view, like always. And here's a little dew on the lily pad, and Danielle says it's a shadow or a fucking Stainers.
Guys, earlier today, the dogs and I were bored, so I decided to go in the freezer and I got a bag of frozen peas out, and I took one of the peas and I tied a little string around it and I hung it from the ceiling. And he just stepped in front of that. There was a light behind it. It's casting a I'm not sure what the problem is. It's a frozen shadow from a frozen pea.
Oh no. What happened to the Schnozzcast studios? Now we're just in a living room.
Well, you still got yours there. You're literally in my video, Nick, you're talking like your face is right over on this side.
Yeah, I know. Mine too.
Okay. I didn't know if it was on purpose or what. You wanted us to see the logo.
Yeah, that too. But also there's something with this weird green screen technology that when I'm over here, like it's, I don't know. It's weird. I'm not that animated with my hands either.
That's true.
Danielle, it's not a political podcast. You can't keep showing your Donald Trump pillow.
That's Dwight from The Office. But
Okay.
Huge.
Okay.
Danielle, were you the one who was telling me about John Krasinski's stay-at-home newscast he did?
maybe.
I saw it.
Did you see it
Maybe.
too?
Don't know.
No, I saw it. I didn't know if I told Bob about it or not.
Well, I just assumed you did because you're the biggest Office fan that I know of.
I am. I haven't watched. He did a second episode. I haven't watched that one yet.
What? All right. Well, I guess I'm staying up late now. If we've got any Office fans out there, you want to give them this is kind of your plug, maybe your pick of the week. You want to describe what they're missing, what they could see?
It's called Some Good News, and it's people are just sending him.
Dude.
Really? People are sending him all kinds of good, like random news from all over the world, and it's just a way to talk about anything but the virus right now. He's doing it from his office at his house. His daughters made his artwork for him. He had Steve Carell on the first episode.
Well, that's irresponsible right there.
And
And what?
continue. Keep telling us.
That,
What else happens?
oh my god.
Danielle, have you seen The British Office?
No, I've never watched that
No.
one.
Me neither.
I think I every time it comes up, I keep telling her she needs to watch it.
You do.
I've never seen it.
I still
I
have.
love The Office, and I haven't seen it. So
I've never seen The Office. Not one episode.
I think you'd like it a lot.
You've never seen the U.S. version?
No.
You have
I
to
just-
get
I-
through the
I
first
never-
season.
never
The first
watched
it.
season's not
I
the
like
best.
Steve Carell. I think Steve Carell's hilarious.
That's
Even though I like the meme that's floating around of him. I think it's The Office where he has the fanny pack on and the mullet, and he's shaking like his boss's hand.
No,
Oh,
yeah,
so-
That's-
Is that The Office?
It was a photo they referenced in one of the episodes.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
there's a
okay.
lot of Office
Yeah,
movies
yeah, yeah.
going on
when,
right now.
when he first got hired.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
They were
yeah,
talking
oh yeah,
about
with
talking
Ed Truck.
Ed Truck, yeah, because that was when Ed died.
Yeah,
Yeah,
He was decapitated underneath a semi truck.
you should try
Yeah.
it, Joe.
I will. I'm definitely going to watch it. I'm running out of stuff.
no,
Nick, I feel like you were trying to get Danielle to discuss some other part of John Krasinski's webcast that you really liked.
No, I think I watched like 2 minutes of it, and then I got sidetracked doing something else, so I haven't really seen it. I just like to Danielle kind of ran out of steam. You could tell she was like, I wasn't prepared for this. I just know a little bit about it, and then she was just done. So I wanted to be like, no,
only
don't
one
stop.
episode we saw.
I think the best part to me was the end of it when he got up.
Oh yeah, and he's in like, I don't know if they were.
Sleepy pants.
Well, I didn't know if they were gym shorts or like they were like patterny shorts. He had like a nice blazer on.
Yes. Yeah. You found it? That's a glorious mullet.
Well, it's funny because like he's doing that. I don't know if you've watched any of them. Jimmy Fallon's been doing like his show from home.
Who's
Mhm.
Jenny Fallon?
Jimmy Fallon.
Oh,
I was also informed by Danielle that Jimmy Fallon has a slide in his house.
He does. He goes down it at the end of every episode.
It's in the house.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
And like, I don't remember. I just saw it the other day. It was one of his last ones that he did. He finally like took the camera down the slide with him because his wife is the one videotaping it, and he just goes down the tube, and that's like the end of the show. But
He was
went down with the camera.
He was in an elevator.
An elevator.
Sounds like Fallon's really jumping the shark here, huh, Bob?
Well, everybody's jumping the shark, man.
They're dying. They're you know what's weird though? Like Jimmy Kimmel's doing it too. It's not this. I know. Obviously, it's not the same. But when you don't have like an audience to laugh at, you're like,
right. It is.
Like,
I mean, his wife will laugh behind the
weird.
camera.
Yeah, it's so weird. You know,
like, he tries to get his daughters in on it too, and his one daughter constantly is like, "No,
I'm not having any of it."
You know what he could do? He could use a laugh track, right, Cory?
No.
Cory seems annoyed.
Nick, can you elaborate on that joke for the new listeners?
Cory is convinced that most sitcoms or 90s sitcoms have forced laugh tracks that it makes it physically unwatchable for him.
It does. It's annoying.
Can't watch Seinfeld. He doesn't care if it's funny because he can't stand the people laughing in the background.
It is actual humor, Cory, so people are laughing.
But it's so disingenuous.
You know, can I say something real quick? That brings up a good point. Listen.
Yes, Joe. Say something real quick.
No, about that. How like shows like Seinfeld or Married with Children, you know, they have laughter in them, right?
This isn't very quick.
No, but and they're funny, but then you take a show like Scrubs, which is hilarious, and there's no laughter. Like, why would one show have laughter and another one wouldn't? They're both funny.
Because
Scrubs very true.
You know, it's weird. Like no laugh track here, but you know, laugh track on that.
But Seinfeld and Married with Children was very much like a 2-camera show. Like they had a set, which was just Jerry's apartment. They just had to move the camera around the set. They didn't have to go from one set to another. And that's Scrubs is like ER, right? It's sort of shot in a hospital with a lot of walking, talking, moving from this room to that room.
Yeah, but they're always in like a central location right around the nurse's station. They don't move a whole lot, but
you can't do it with the studio audience though.
No, but it's weird, like why one would and one wouldn't. Go ahead, Nick, sorry.
No, I was going to say that Seinfeld was one of the few shows that had an aspect of realism to it in regards to, you know, like Friends was ridiculous because when they would go outside, they were on a stage. And anywhere outside, there's fake plants, there's fake trees. The cars weren't really moving. They'd kind of go like here to here. You know, that was pretty much it. And it kind of took something away from the show. But Seinfeld actually made a New York City street that was outside. So they had all real lighting. And that's why when you see them walking outside, it looks like they're really outside because they are. But it's all fake. All the stores and everything are fake, but they're really walking down the street on some big set in Hollywood outside. So I think there was something to that brought an aspect of realism, but I don't know. Obviously, in those situations, they'd probably have to add laughter.
Yeah. Well, it's like in Seinfeld when they do certain episodes where the one where Kramer has a kidney stone or he has to use the bathroom and he's running through the streets of New York, but that actor's actually in New York. It's just it's a double that they use, you know.
Yamahama.
Yeah. Sorry, customers only.
Yamahama.
Right. The mumps. Typhoid.
Hey, Cory, is Scotty Moore in the room?
Hang on one second. I don't know if he's still there.
No one is.
Everybody left? No kidding. Even Gina?
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised, but
No, I think Gina's still in there.
Hi,
Maybe he was, but he
Hi,
left
Gina.
West Listening.
Yeah, Krabby said he was going to watch more episodes of Letterkenny.
Oh, I'm so thrilled. He sent me a text a couple days ago about to start episode or season 7, fellas.
Yeah, he said he was gonna go finish it.
So good.
You know what would have kept James Krabby Pappas around if you let him zoom into the call?
Yeah, I suppose we could.
That would have kept him. I said would have. And I did not recommend it because you wanted to go back to basics.
It's not a hard and fast rule. I could be convinced.
Well, it's too late. He's watching Letterkenny.
Yeah, it might. You're right. It might be too late.
Oh, I feel like I don't know if I could send him a text. I feel like it might be the one thing to pull him away from that.
Go and get the Maker's Mark. Put on some pants.
I know.
You don't need pants for the podcast.
Like, technically, you don't need pants. You can't see anything.
I don't have pants. I don't have pants, huh?
Oh God.
Gina did say that she's still here. And hi, Joe.
Yeah, sorry, I was coughing while I was trying to say hi to her.
And I'm trying to remember too. I can't remember if Married with Children actually had laughing in the background.
I don't.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Did it?
They had a studio audience for sure.
Yeah, most definitely.
You know, from what I hear, Cheers was filmed in front of a live studio audience.
Yeah. Yep.
Only because they announced it at the beginning of every show.
Yeah.
Does that bother you?
I hated when they would do that.
You know, a lot of shows in the 90s and did that.
Remember, they would switch back and forth with all the different characters. You know, some days it'd be Norm, some days it'd be Cliff. It'd be like, Cheers was filmed before a live studio audience. You know.
Yeah.
Which is kind of so like a show like Home Improvement. So was that filmed in front of a live studio audience? In front of a live studio audience?
No,
Yes.
it was because this is a fact. The people that they used for Tool Time, the audience were actual people that were in the live audience, and they just moved them to be audience members of Tool Time.
It's like a dual reality.
Yeah. You know what? Like with Married with Children, though, it was. Shut up, Nick. Married with Children was like a different kind of laughter.
It is.
Like whenever Al would zing whoever, or like they brought a real hot woman on to the camera, like you could always tell there was like genuine reactions from like audience members, you know?
I think that was because that was Fox as a network it was like one of their very first shows, them in the 70s, right? So they were really trying to differentiate themselves from the rest of the sitcoms that are out there. So I think they brought them in and just essentially told them, like, if you've ever done this before for any of their shows, this is not going to be like that. We want everybody to be hooting and hollering and and then the show just kind of built this energy all of its own where they knew what to do when they got in the audience,
Yeah. I was watching clips of All in the Family the other day when they were talking about, Archie Bunker gets all, he bashes certain people and stuff like that. It's amazing how verbally you can't really say that stuff on television anymore, but the violence that wasn't there back in the 70s is now like the norm on television. So you can't gay bash or anything anymore on television like he did in the 70s, but the violence is like beyond crazy nowadays that it wasn't there in the 70s. You get what I mean?
Yes.
Like television wasn't violent in the 70s. It really wasn't, but it's violent now. But they,
right.
You get what I mean? Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's weird how it ebbs and flows from like decade to decade.
I think I don't know if it was the ebb and flow. Like I don't expect it to swing back the other way.
Oh no, definitely.
There's going to be a lot of gay bashing on television. But yeah, society has changed to the point where that has slowly become, completely unacceptable, and violence has slowly become the norm.
Right. When you take a comedian nowadays, though, that has a pretty vulgar stage act, right? And this is an act, he's there to entertain. And he gets ripped apart for whatever he might be saying. I mean, I get it, but I don't. Like, what's different than him performing an act? He's an artist. He's an actor, basically. What's different than him performing his act and being vulgar as opposed to a movie that was written by a human? And you
Not a
know what I
robot.
mean? Well, no, it's written by a human being, but you can be racist and vulgar all you want. Nobody says anything like Quentin Tarantino. They're like, oh, no, Quentin's fine, but so-and-so was gay bashing, you know, in their stand-up act. Let's rip him apart, but not Quentin Tarantino. Why is that? I mean, it's all, they thought of it. He wrote a script. This guy's doing a stand-up act. What's the difference? You know?
Are you asking me, or are you?
Yeah. Oh no, I'm just wondering if anybody has an opinion on that. I don't get it personally.
I think what that kind of goes back to is Tarantino's films. You know, ever since he started them, he's always had kind of that risque and kind of non-PC way of filming things, and a non-PC script. So I mean, his movies have been, I mean, cleaned up beyond belief, you know, especially some of the newer ones, with like the exception of Django, which, you know, obviously some of the words in there that were used, but that's just kind of what he's known for. I think though, if like you have a comedian that just goes out on stage and tries to get shock value out of it, right, that's when people start downing it. Like, oh, this guy's never been like, oh, he's not. That's not what he's known for. That's not his type of comedy or her type of comedy.
But like, look at Ari Shaffir. Ari Shaffir got castrated because of what he said about Kobe Bryant, and he's always been like that. Ari Shaffir from day one has been a risque comedian that does crazy shit. Yeah, but then all of a sudden they rip him apart for that.
Yeah, but there is also such a thing as something being too soon.
Oh no, I know. Yeah, and
you know,
I
get that. If it was 5 years down the road and he made a joke about it, people might have been a little more receptive.
But who makes the too soon call though? The PC police?
The audience.
The audience.
But that's the thing. But a lot of his audience still love him, but these people don't like him. I guess it all depends on who gets a hold of what at what time.
Remember what the difference between a film and a stand-up performance? That in a film, you're dressing it up with a story that lasts at least 90 minutes, and whatever the joke is, there's going to be context before, during, and after it that sets it with costumes and settings and actors and dialogue, and the way that they film it can affect how you feel about what you're seeing or hearing. But a stand-up, there's no context. It's literally just the words, and they're trying to paint a picture with the language. And that's all that there is. If you go and see a stand-up comedian, you're looking just at that person, and your view really never changes. And sometimes you're even listening to it and you don't even see anything. You just have the words in your ears, and that's it. Right. So it's a very different experience, and it's very personal. Stand-up is very, very personal. It's one person kind of naked in front of you, just bearing their soul, and for what they find funny, to be true, to be whatever, which is a lot different than the storytelling in a film.
No, I understand that, but I think that comedians too, they don't always think like that. This is an act. This is something they wrote, which is just like a movie. This is something the guy wrote. So I think the mindset might not be 100%, like, oh, I really think this way. They're doing it because they think it's going to be funny, or a writer for a film is doing it because they think that, it'll gain an audience. But it's weird though, because like Bill Burr is hilarious. I love Bill Burr. He can say, the, F word and stuff like
the
that.
The
F word. And everybody laughs and it's okay. It's like he was explain. Can I say that, Bob, or should I not say that?
The F word?
And not the F word, the other F word. The gay F word.
No, I wouldn't.
All right, I won't. Okay. But he says that too, and he was explaining once, that like, guys, I wouldn't call one of my friends the F word because I bashing it. It's just like how we talk to each other. That's what guys do, and everyone thinks it's serious. But like, no, it's really not, though.
But the difference is Bill Burr is a professional comedian. He's worked for many, 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 many years. A couple decades. to get good enough to figure out a way to present that idea,
Right.
and still make you laugh and diffuse all of the parts about it that might seem to be, gay bashing or non-PC. But remember, the stand-up comedian is all in the first person. He's getting up on the stage, and every story is about, I went here, I did this, here's what I think, here's what I find funny, here's what I want to talk about. A movie is John walked down the street and met Mary, and it's not a first-person narrative. They're telling a story.
But the guy still thought of it, though. He still wrote it, though.
Yes, but it's in the telling and the story that makes all the difference.
Yeah, I guess. I get it.
Sorry, I got to step away and let the dog out. Keep talking.
So, and too, like with Bill Burr, like I think a lot of it too, like especially when he uses dialogue like that, he eventually comes back around and basically say that he was the idiot about it.
Oh yeah, if you kind of make yourself the butt of the joke,
right.
then you can get away with it.
He wasn't saying like, well, that's a word I truly believe in, or use. He says I used it, and come to find out, I was an idiot for doing so because it didn't fit the situation, or I just looked like a tool bag saying it. So yeah, he brings it back around to himself, and I think that's what kind of gets him out of people really really getting upset with him saying stuff like that.
Right.
But like, and then like going back to Bob's point, as far as like Tarantino, using Jesus Christ, Remy, the dog just ripped ass like. Oh my God! Oh boy!
Watch the
stop
screen.
the dog.
The screen's gonna start going like this, and it's just go pew.
What did you give him? Beans and cauliflower for dinner?
Cauliflower.
Or broccoli?
Gassy dog.
Some asparagus.
Cory can't asparagus.
I
love asparagus.
Issues as a rescue, so his belly's all messed up.
Oh.
All right. Sorry. Go ahead, Cory.
No, I'm trying to fight through this. So yeah, like, there's a plot behind everything. So like in Django, the use of the N-word, it's not to, to be funny or to be
fair,
erratic about it. It's about the so it's something that was used at that time and in that time period.
Yeah,
so it fits the plot. So like I said, it's not just being used erroneously.
No.
Just to put the word out there.
It's funny though. I've heard that a lot. It might have been one of you guys that brought this up. If you take a show like Home Improvement, people say they're like, they couldn't make that today, and I'm like, why not? Because it was like it's always Tim bashing on women and stuff like that. I'm like, but like what Cory said, he ends up being the idiot, the punching bag at the end, which makes it okay.
That's one of the things that saved him. I just got to say though. You kind of stunned me for a second. I wasn't sure how we got from Django Unchained to Home Improvement. It's
quite a segue.
It's a great leap on your part.
Well, I mean, you get what I mean.
Hey, Cory, I got an hour 20 in. Do you want to take a little break, or you want to keep going?
We can take a break.
Okay. I don't want to potentially lose the literally tens of listeners we might have out there.
We'll get them back, Bob. We'll get them back.
All right. Let's take a break then.
You want to do a shout out here?
A shout out?
A shot out.
Oh, you want to do a shot to carry us out into the break? Sure. Nick's gonna go grab his.
Did you see the creepy barn background that he came up with? He had that on there last night.
How many bodies are in there?
Is there lightning flashes in the back?
Hold on, let me go grab mine.
No,
Nick walking the fridge.
That was the fridge opening.
That's pretty amazing, actually.
It did have a sweet effect.
It's the Aurora Borealis over the barn. So.
Yeah, is that what it is?
That's what it is.
Okay.
I've worked long and hard today researching how to do that, so I appreciate that you guys like it.
It's a pretty Borealis story.
You're a pretty Borealis, Cory.
Oh!
Pretty Borealis.
Cheers.
Pretty Borealis.
I just squatted down that slam dunk. Hold on, I got to wait for Joe.
That truck's looking good for being dead.
I swear to God, that guy is the same guy who played the coach in The White Shadow. But I know that's why I was asking if Scotty Moore was still in the room, because I'm like, no one else is going to get that reference to a show from like 1977.
Well, and it's funny too because Ed Truck is never actually in the show. That's the only appearance of him. He's in a picture.
You're thinking of Hayden Fox.
Who are you talking to?
You from the coach.
No, it's Craig T. Nelson. This is The White Shadow. Totally different show.
Coach was a pretty good show. I like Coach.
Yeah, Coach is great. All right, here's to you.
I suggest just ending the Facebook Live, because if you end this, there's a chance that some members might not be coming back.
Some members?
He means himself.
You lost me, man. What do you want to do?
So the reason that people had to be admitted to the room was because I started it from the iPad when I was trying to figure out the Facebook Live, and it doesn't give you the full settings list that a laptop does. So it automatically generated that I had to admit people into the room and give them access.
And he just forgot about me.
Oh. Well, I forgot that I had to admit people.
Oh. You remember, Bob, when I sent the text, I said it was too many numbers?
Yes, I didn't know what you were talking about.
No, because it takes 9 numbers usually, and Cory's had 10 numbers in it. So I'm like, oh, maybe he threw an extra 9 in at the end. So I put in the 9 numbers and then I hit enter, and it's like Mrs. So-and-so, Mrs. Somerset's 6th grade photography class doesn't start till tomorrow. Tomorrow at 11 a.m. I'm like, oh, I know what I'm doing tomorrow.
You're going to
I swear to God, it was like Mrs. Somerset's 6th grade photography class doesn't start till tomorrow or something like that. I'm like,
hold on. That's hilarious, but hold on. You lost me. Why the fuck were you looking at how many numbers? Why weren't you just clicking on the link?
Because the link was on my phone and I'm on my laptop, and I didn't feel like emailing it to myself. What, Nick?
But you can click on the link on your phone too.
Hello.
What?
Are we?
What are you doing?
Are we stopping this now? What's going on?
I guess we should now, since you're already talking to other people. Okay.
And then
Let's take a break. We'll come back in about 10 minutes. Please join us then. Episode 67.
You know, Bob, since we're so close to the magic number.
What number is that? 68?
Yeah, 68. What we'll be doing for that magical number episode. It's got to be something.
Enjoying quarantine.
Yeah, but I mean,
I don't think she's following you, Joe.
No, she's
not.
No,
I know what he's talking about.
It's got to be something a little more risque than what.
Go anywhere.
No, I really still don't think she's following you, man.
Hey, Cory, here's a quote.
I know what he's fucking talking about.
Danielle, 69, you know? When we both put each other's private parts in each other's mouth.
Episode 69.
I know what he's fucking talking about.
I know.
He wants to do something special, but we can't go out of our houses, so I don't know how you special.
Wait, hold on. Why would you need the house for 69?
The content of the podcast.
We tend to put on the front lawn.
Well, yeah, why? I kind of think it's tailor-made to be done right where you're at.
On a couch? No.
Do you view that as kind of like shitting where you eat? Like, I lay here all night watching TV here. That shit doesn't happen here on the couch.
I hope this does not catch on.
What's that?
The virus? It will.
Hey, man. We really don't have to come to your house anymore. We can just do this.
we were just talking about that on the break.
That may have been a conversation already.
I said
I got no problem.
I said Joe might be onto something. I said this is kind of nice when
it is. You can do whatever you want.
I said you can just set up the computer.
Sure.
And don't have to drive anywhere.
Yeah. You know what? from my end, I sound all right, but you guys don't. And I watched the Facebook Live, and I'm like, it doesn't sound very good. We're all limited by the bandwidth. There's really nothing else that we can do other than that.
Even right now, though, we don't sound good.
I'd have to watch this back again, but I just watched probably, skipping around the first 15 minutes of the other one, and I'm like, yeah, we've sounded way better. That's for sure. I mean, there's a reason why all of us have invested time and money into the setup that's in Nick's basement currently. It's because we got it to sound the way we wanted to sound, and we're not getting that here. We're just making do with what we have.
Well, currently the setup in Nick's basement is
all this fucking money.
The bachelor lifestyle apartment of a man nurse, who has done a lot with the shower in my bathroom that words can't describe. You'd have to see photos.
I don't know if I want to
in
see
a good way. I can't
tell.
tell whether you're wiping your brow because of frustration or of joy.
Wait till you see the pictures.
What's the deal?
Yeah, his heart's in the right place.
Is it like the cabinets in Jerry's apartment where they're just overbuilt? Where he's like, Jesus, what? I can't even see around this. This doesn't work for me.
I don't know. I'm very uncomfortable here.
Well, he's completely redone his basement and his kitchen. It looks beautiful, and he's like. I told him that, the shower was outdated and just it's a stand-up basement shower. And I'm like, all that needs to be done is these old pipes need to be cut out. You need to sweat new pipes onto it with the new shower fitting and everything like that. And the shower just hangs over the side like a stand-up shower. Well, he decided in his infinite wisdom that there should be over the overhead shower. Well, like
normally rainfall, sort of a
which sounds great.
It sounds amazing.
Yeah, it sounds very luxurious.
Like you're in a quality Marriott hotel room.
But in the process of removing the old fixture, there are left 2 holes in this aluminum stand-up shower that we've filled with gray putty clumps, and all the piping was redone, but now. Looking into the bathroom, you have a giant copper pipe that floats over the top of the shower with this thing attached to it. I mean, it's not like hidden in the ceiling or anything. It's just
what?
It's my chin-up bar.
And I'm like, and I was upset because it was just hanging. So he eased my troubled mind by drilling some holes in a couple 2x4s, and he's mounted it on the shower with 2x4s. So now there's 2x4s. What?
That's what he did to fix it?
Yeah. 2x4s holding up a copper pipe with the rainfall shower in the middle. So you look into the bathroom, there's this giant copper pipe floating in the air with 2x4s. And I'm like, okay, is this really your best work? Like,
all right, Nick, for we need to explain to the listeners, who are you talking about and how did it come to this?
This is super fan Kevin Cromwell, who just got his nursing degree about 7 months ago. Mm-hmm. And he works in very close proximity with us. And he had been very upset. Nice, Joe. He had been he had been very upset about, his newborn baby and 2 little boys, like 3 and 6 years old, and his wife going home and bringing this home. So I'm like, Cory and I is just as exposed as he is. And, I have a house to myself. So I said, well, during this time, you're more than welcome to stay here. And he absolutely took me up on the offer. And so he's been downstairs. So he's like, well, I'm very handy. Are there any projects you want done? So I said, well, the shower. Oh, yeah, done. Very, very simple. I can get that taken care of. And I told him, I said, we're going to have to figure something else out, because just a bunch of pipes hanging over the top of a location with 2x4s, I might as well make that outside and just hook it up to my garden hose, because that's not, and he was laughing, but he's the cool thing is he's very receptive, and he's like, oh yeah, so we got it together. We're gonna fix it. I'm like, oh, that must be that giant lumps of gray putty that you used to fill the hole. And then one of the holes he covered with a bent piece of like steel. So it's like this piece of steel on the inside of the shower, like a shard of bent like tin that was stuck to the wall. And I'm like, what the fuck is this?
Angie's List.
He's like,
this guy sucks.
He's like, oh, that's you gotta have something to cover the hole. And I'm like, so what's going on with that? He's like, well, I'm like, I don't want like just a bent piece of tin square like in the shower like that I could rip the side of my, fucking hip on or something. So I said, you must be using this because the other side of the hole, you were filling it with this Bondo. I said, so this comes off because he's like, it could come off. And I'm like, you weren't going to leave it like that, were you? And he's like, well, whatever you want. And I said, well, this clump of gray putty that you use to fill the holes of this white aluminum shower, is that like sandable? Is that like Bondo for a car? Maybe.
I don't know.
I'm like,
Could be.
So I said, because it would be ingenious if you used, the piece of tin to cover the hole, and then you filled it with Bondo, and then once it's done, you pull that off, you can sand it, and now you can paint over it. I said, that would make sense. He's like, you might be able to do that. And I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, okay.
Hey, Nick, are you okay with this hinge? I can get you the kind you want. 4 holes, 3 holes, 2 holes. Barrage,
Whatever. Whatever.
Just finish it.
Just do it.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny. The other day at work, Nick was telling me about how the copper piping situation worked itself out. How there was just this copper pipe just hanging above his shower. He's like, yeah, I'm not too happy with it. I don't know why he didn't do this or do that or just leave everything and just fix it and replace the old shower head. And I'm like, well,
because it was just hanging off the side. It's a shower with no ceiling, so it's just hanging off the side like this. And he was like, what would be better than that? Copper piping hanging over you in the shower.
I said,
with water coming right down. I think he was so excited for like a rainfall shower. And I said, well, are you going to mount? I'm like, are you going to mount it in the ceiling? I was going to, but those tiles, I don't know how to move them. So I'm like, well, you can't leave it like that.
I told Nick, I'm like, Kevin's clearly a visionary. I said, but he's not a professional. So like he saw Nick's shower and was like, well, I can do whatever I want with this because it's not mine. I'm sure when he had that vision for his shower, he looked at it and was like, well, I can't necessarily do this without it looking shitty.
I'm going to try it on Nick's first.
But I can do it on Nick's shower.
I'm not going to do that in my shower.
I don't get you, Nick. You want something one day. Next day you don't like it. Come on, make a decision.
No kid.
Well, it's funny because Kevin's a lot like that contractor. He's like, yeah, whatever you want.
Hey, go, whatever.
So, but you'll like this, Cory. So the couch I have downstairs, it's like, a faux leather couch. Both sides recline. Well, like a year ago, the middle part doesn't recline. Right. And it started to sag like a little bit. And I told my brother about it when he was here. And he's like, yeah, I think one of the boards on one side, has broken, but it can easily be fixed. People just obviously have to sit on the other sides of the couch. So I knew that. Kevin did not know that. So Kevin walked up the stairs and told me, this was really funny. This was today. This was after leaving the garage open and going to work and taking the clean towels that I washed and folded to put downstairs that he could use to shower with, my showering towels. Well, some kind of sink overflow or something happened while he was plumbing, and he just laid them all over the dirty basement floor to soak up everything and then went to work. So I had these soaking wet towels, and then I had a pipe dripping into like a 5-gallon jug that was about to overflow that I had no idea about. just running for 24 hours, just dripping into this thing. So I'm like going around like putting out all these little Kevin fires, and he's like, what do you want me to do? I'm like, well, if there's a pipe that you cut in half that's running for hours, you should probably let me know, because had I not seen it, it would have overflown all over the place. And the towels that I use to wash or dry my clean body off, I don't want on my disgusting basement floor next to the toilet soaking up fucking toilet water. So he comes up today and he's like, yeah. He's like, hey, what's going on? I'm like, nothing. He's like, so this is weird. I'm like, what's weird? I fell asleep on the couch. I woke up on the floor. I think I broke your couch.
He woke up on the floor.
I'm like, what? Yeah, the whole middle of the couch just ripped right off, and I was just on the floor. I don't know. He goes, I tried to put it back on, but it just falls right back off. I'm like, so I go down, and I didn't have the heart to say, oh, I guess you owe me a free couch. So I'm like, yeah, there was an issue with it before. He's like, oh, so I didn't break it. I'm like, no, you definitely broke it. I'm like,
I didn't have the heart to say, get the fuck out of my house.
I said, why would you sit in the middle? I said, both sides recline. He goes, well, the middle doesn't recline. I'm like, aha! So that's the problem. I said, so no. He's like, oh no, I had no idea. I was sleeping.
Wait, so he tried to recline the middle, which doesn't recline?
No, Bob, he didn't. He did it while he was sleeping. You know how you break couches while you sleep?
No, I don't.
It happens all the time.
Explain it to me, because I don't get it.
Hang on, that couch, you could already tell when you sat on it that it was already broken. So how did he sit on it and not realize, like, I probably shouldn't sit here?
He said, I thought it reclined.
Does it?
When it's just like kind of freely swinging, that's not reclining.
So yeah, so that now apparently it's just two seats. So
I don't know, Nick. Every little thing that he's fixed, it sounds up to code. So
yeah,
all right.
But rest assured, he told me we can fix that. I said, Kevin, if we can fix that, if by we can fix that you mean we can take a giant piece of copper pipe and screw it into the back of the couch so it holds this up. I was actually thinking of just putting a board back there. I'm like, oh my God, no.
You know, he's not wrong. That's kind of how you reinforce furniture, was with 2x4s.
Yeah. Just screw big 2x4s into the back of this couch.
Yeah.
Like, so I think we're going to be on the right track, because I talked to him today and I was like, Kevin, if you wouldn't have 2x4s and free hanging copper pipes over your bathroom in your own house, you shouldn't have it at my house.
I thought that's the way things ran around here in the Bader household.
But the good news is it's a nice fixture. It's a nice shower head. It's working fine. It's all sealed. You know, I mean, it's really nice. Once it's done, it'll be great, you know. And he comes upstairs, he goes, huh, that putty I used, once it dries, yeah, it can totally be sanded. I just read it online. I'm like, oh, good.
Like plugging holes with like an empty Chef Boyardee beefaroni can and shit like that.
I mean, what?
Well, that works.
Really just shooting from the hip here, aren't we?
Kevin the contractor.
He comes upstairs, he's like, I'm like, so I go over and I'm like making some coffee, and he's like,
What is that? Is a violent yawn?
Yeah.
He's got these like very like weirdly effeminate, like obvious, like it almost sounds like if someone was like asking a bad actor, try and fake yawn for me. Like that's what it sounds like. And he's just sitting at the table, just like staring at me. And I'm like, what? Oh, nothing. I slept all day. I don't normally do that. So now I feel like nothing got accomplished. I'm like, okay.
This guy's living in your house right now, Nick.
Yeah, he's a great guy though. And
as you're shitting all over him, yeah, I'm sure he's a great guy.
So hang on. Bad contractor, great guy.
Yeah.
I'm just picturing the tension.
Shitty handyman.
With Kevin's fake yawns and Nick going, what?
So he goes. So I turn around, I'm trying to make some coffee. He's like, ah. And I go, do you have to do that every time so pronounced?
You're fucking driving me crazy.
And he's like,
uncouple.
He's like,
yeah, right. Felix and
Oscar.
He goes, what? I go, those effeminate yawns that don't sound like any man's yawns. I just slept all day. I'm like, yeah, I know, Kevin. You told me 3 times. He's like, do you know Tim Hortons closes at 2 p.m.? I'm like, okay. And he's like,
it's great, Kevin.
I'm like, why do you care about Tim Hortons? Well, I couldn't get any coffee. And I'm like,
oh, while you're making coffee, you saying this?
I'm like, would you like some coffee? I guess so. I'm like, all right. So I start making some bacon because I'm going to make myself.
Wouldn't mind some scones if you have some time.
I'm going to make myself a turkey, bacon, and ranch sandwich, And he's just sitting there. It's like, I really don't know what to do with myself when I sleep this long. It never happens. I'm like, yeah. And he's like, so he's got all his stuff with him, but of course, no food or anything. But he's doing work for me, which is fine. So he's just sitting there. I said, Kevin, what do you eat? What do you mean? I said, when do you eat? You didn't bring any food over here. Oh, yeah, I know. I'm like, do you eat at work? No, nothing's open. I said, so what are you eating? A lot of people donate food to nurses. I'm like, okay. Sometimes I stop at Tim Hortons. I'm like, and you get food there? No, just coffee. I'm like, so what are you eating? He's like, I don't know. He's like, yesterday though, I met up with my wife, bought her like $250 worth of groceries, to give to her for the kids and everything. I said, oh, good. He's like,
he's married?
Yeah.
Are they separated?
No,
he's living with Nick because.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah, he doesn't want to expose his family to.
Got it. Sorry.
So I said, well, you don't know what to eat, and you just bought $250 worth of groceries. I said, good thing you didn't bring any of those groceries over here. And he's like, I didn't even know you needed anything.
Well, yeah, I guess I don't if you're never going to eat.
Well, right. What are you going to eat? I don't understand, So I go, Kevin, would you like a sandwich? I guess I'll have one.
If you don't mind.
Oh,
I only picture Nick. I picture Nick, like him talking Nick into making like super extravagant dinners, and he's just sitting at the table, and Nick's like cutting his roast beef for him and shit like that.
Roast beef.
I go, you're probably not used to seeing bacon like this because pandemic, not many people have bacon. He's like, I got like 4 packages of it at my house. I'm like, oh. Good. That's great.
I picture Kevin sitting in the hallway outside your bathroom and you walking by going, dude, did you want to go to the bathroom? He's like, yeah, I probably could go to the bathroom.
Or Nick makes him dinner and then he's in the bedroom and all he does is like put his plates outside the door and shut the door. This is not a hotel.
Oh my God.
Do you want me to wash your dishes for you? Yeah, I guess you probably do.
I'll wash them, sure. No problem.
The first day I came home,
brushing his teeth for him.
He came straight home from work, so he worked 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. He went down in the basement. Now, the basement light, as you guys know, when you turn it on, you can only turn it on from upstairs. There's no switch. So you turn it on from upstairs, and the stairs light turns on, and a giant shop light in the basement turns on. So he went downstairs. Yeah. He went downstairs and positioned the blow-up mattress that I put aside right under the shop light. Anywhere else in the basement would have been darker, but right under the shop light, pushed it up against the wall, and went to sleep. I think the light was on for like 27 hours.
Oh, speaking of which, that's the light on.
What? Why wouldn't you walk upstairs and turn the fucking light off so you can go to sleep? I don't understand. He's like, oh, I can sleep anywhere. I'm like, oh, yeah.
Oh, the switch is all the way over there. I don't want to walk over there.
He's like, I said, you slept with, it was like an operating theater. You slept right under a giant, 3 foot, two, fucking CFL lights that are just.
Nick, so hang on. I'm trying to think of which. So if he was pushed up against the wall.
Which wall?
Yeah.
To the right of the TV, if you're looking at it.
Oh, okay.
He pushed the blanket, or he pushed the air mattress up against there.
Kind of right at the bottom of the stairs.
Yeah.
And then he leaned his head up against the cinder block.
Oh, so he needed something to put his head against.
What? You didn't bring a pillow?
No.
No, say I used to do that when I was younger. I would put my head against the wall.
Why?
And like sleep, like almost like kind of sit like how I'm sitting now. It's how I would sleep.
Did your parents not believe in pillows? They didn't give pillows to their children?
No, I had pillows. It's just like your body's laying down, but your head's propped up.
No, I'm aware of what an uncomfortable position is. I'm just not sure why you'd use it if you had a pillow handy.
So what?
You put a pillow behind you.
So what happened is I came home. It was pitch black outside. I squinted and noticed the garage was open at nighttime. So I closed the garage, and I go inside and just, there's water dripping. There's towels all over the ground. There's shit fucking everywhere. So I'm like, all right. So I take all the soaking wet towels, put them in, do the laundry, grab all the blankets off his bed because the last person to sleep with those, because he didn't bring any blankets. So the last person to sleep with those blankets was Don. So,
gotta wash those.
I took them all in his pillowcase and I threw them in the wash, did like 3 loads of laundry, put the towels all back over, cleaned shit up, came upstairs, did all the dishes, cleaned up the fucking kitchen, everything like that, and did stuff around the house, went to work the next day. So the next day before I go to work, it's like, 11 in the morning, or it was like 10:58. And he texts me because apparently I'm supposed to be up at 7 in the morning every day to entertain him and do projects with him. But that's not.
Nick, why isn't my breakfast ready?
He texts me, he goes, is all you do is sleep? Is that all you do? And I'm like, so I woke up and I'm like, oh. I said, no. I said, all I did last night was empty a 5-gallon bucket 4 times I didn't know about of running water that ran for 24 hours. And I took the towels that I use on my body when I'm trying to dry off when I'm clean on the disgusting basement floor that were soaking wet. I washed them so they were dry. And I took all the blankets and pillowcase that my buddy was using, and I made sure to wash them so he had clean blankets when he came home. And I did the dishes and cleaned the kitchen. I said, those are some of the things that tied up my time. And he's like, I said, oh, and I closed the garage that was open at night. And he's like, I couldn't find the garage door closer. I'm like, okay.
Was it open? How did he open it?
Because I was up in the morning and he's like, I need something out of the garage. So I opened the garage.
Oh, okay.
And then he just went back to being Kevin, and that was it.
Bob, you are right. I have never seen in my life a more odd couple than this right here.
Yeah, I'm weirdly attracted to the idea. I'm weirdly attracted to the idea of being a fly on the wall and watching the interplay between Nick and Kevin, especially like in those days where they happen to cross paths in between shifts.
Standing tall.
Yeah.
But I'm glad I don't.
I caught you in the kitchen washing the floors and moaning, footprints. Well, they were mine, damn it. I have feet and they make prints.
Oh, you spaghetti?
Now it's garbage.
Now it's garbage.
Oh, such a good movie. That's my next one for you guys.
Oh, I love that movie.
That is one of my top 5 favorite movies.
I actually had been missing the original Bad News Bears, and I couldn't find it anywhere, so I ended up buying it.
There you go. That's a great movie.
I do, because I hadn't seen it in forever, and I'm like, man, it's such a good movie.
Buttermaker.
All right, so we're gonna do a shot real quick, and Danielle's also gonna be going to bed.
Oh,
She's already been asleep for the last 30 minutes, just laying there on the couch.
So
Is she sleeping sitting up?
Good night to Danielle.
Have I been sitting up? Yeah, I can sit up and fall asleep.
All right, good night, Danielle.
Night.
I think Danielle's been enjoying my misery.
I was laughing at you.
See you, Bob.
Alrighty.
She knows I'm going to sleep.
Jerry, hello.
Jerry, hello.
Jerry, hello. Jerry, hello. You ever notice, dude, when they said that on the episode, because you already knew the character Uncle Leo for quite some time.
Yeah.
And when he was like, I don't know, it's my uncle. He's weird. He always grabs my arm. He always says hello. He's like, he grabs my arm when he talks to me.
All right, you ready, Joe?
Yeah, sorry. I don't know why I just don't bring the bottle, but
Joe, don't you
put mine back in the freezer?
Joe, don't
Yeah.
you have a cousin Jeffrey that works in the parks department?
I believe I do. He got me tickets to Paul Simon. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, last Schnozzcast shot of the evening.
I encouraged him to print.
When you were younger, who always complimented you on your printing?
Don't treat my uncle like a bomb diffusing robot.
Ooh. Oh,
Danielle.
Lord.
Your grandmother, she's on a very fixed income.
Remember the PBS pledge drive?
Stop this show.
What happened to the chemical bank that was on this block? It burned. You know what you want to do? You want to go down to the main branch. Ask for Mr. Fleming. He'll help you out.
Mr. Fleming. I love how Cory doesn't even crack a smile. He's like, no, I'm not down with this.
Oh, dude, Cory, you're missing out, man.
Your grandmother, she's missing. She hasn't left the apartment in 34 years.
Stay calm. I am calm.
Remember? Man, we can handle this over the phone. Click.
Yeah.
She sets her alarm for 5
Like
o'clock.
4:30 a.m. And she's like, oh.
Puts on her good pearls.
You know, it sounds pretty terrible.
I don't get you. I really don't get you, Cory. So wait.
Oh,
Okay.
because I understand you fully.
Wait a minute. So you get Letterkenny, but you don't get Seinfeld.
Jerry.
Explain.
Hello.
Yeah.
Okay. Could you imagine watching Letterkenny if they had a laugh track?
They would never do such a thing.
No, but if they did,
Say that again. What, Joe? Say that again.
could you imagine?
Don't even bother saying it because that's
Oh.
a terrible thing to say.
Well, no. If they did, would you be able to watch it?
No.
Just because there's a laugh track, you won't watch it.
Correct.
He's a very particular man.
Very true.
It's funny though how Cory he's like, oh no, whatever, and we don't shit all over him. But when I don't like something, everyone's like, oh, he hates everything. I'm like, no, I don't hate everything.
Cory, can you mute Nick
Quite
until
a
he
lot of
comes
stuff
back?
I like. Is he peeing?
Yeah, I don't know why he insists on. He's the whistliest motherfucker I've ever heard.
Dude, like I said, that's all you hear all day at work is just him whistling.
But not only that, but he just has no seemingly.
And
He just forgets about what he was doing. Like, oh, no one can hear me.
Now, like I have a live stream going on in my house.
my God.
I've never sat there in the bathroom while I'm going to the bathroom whistling like that. It just doesn't happen.
We have a driver at the store and she's great. She's older, but she's been with us for a long time, and she whistles. But it couldn't be any more like, you know what the tune is. You can recognize the tune when you hear it, but in tune, not even close. And I'm like, stop.
She keeps listening to Jay-Z tunes.
No, I don't. It's like classical music and
Drake,
shit like that.
or some Kendrick Lamar.
Yeah, there is. Dr. Dre. A lot of Dr. Dre.
Hang on real quick. I'm going to end the live stream.
Okay.
Danielle's going to bed, and that's where the camera's at on the iPad. So.
Ooh.
So let's
can't stand in the way.
Look at the size of that dildo.
Oh, you have to unmute Nick.
Shing.
Oh, let's end the live stream. If you guys want to continue on the actual recording for a second, we can do that. Actually, I have two very good points I want to bring up.
Okay. Do that. We'll hold on the fort.
All right. So yeah, you guys go ahead and let me end the live stream here and get all the equipment out of the room.
Equipment.
Cory, what would have been podcast gold is to turn on the camera in the bedroom.
Oh no.
Cruel, but good.
Yeah, potential. Cory, I'm trying to go to sleep. Turn the camera off.
No, babe, it's good footage.
I know, I was
She heard us.
taking my time because I knew it.
It'd be Bob, a little.
I can't mute anybody.
No, that's all right. A side note to the music trivia that we did, even though I do like that. It wouldn't be as fun though, but just Nick looks up lyrics and then says a certain lyric to the song, and then we have to guess from there. That would it'd be a lot harder.
I don't care for that.
Shut up, Nick. I hope Kevin destroys your house. Speaking of that, what's with that door frame? Fix that door frame.
I suggested that would be as being a good project.
I said it too.
What he said.
Kevin's going to take some empty pizza boxes and do the door frame.
He said,
staple of pizza boxes.
He goes, I'm not really good at that kind of stuff. I'm like, okay, I appreciate that.
Thanks, Kev. Love ya.
That brutal honesty. Did he also say that about the shower? And you're like,
showers and bathrooms is his
his
forte. That's my expertise.
Yeah. All right. So what can our listeners look forward to over the next couple of weeks, you think?
Gina's still there?
Well, he just ended the live stream, so I don't think anybody's there anymore. But we're past April Fools now. Getting into it's been weather's been really great over the last few days.
Thank God it was a mellow winter.
Yeah. Cory's back.
Oh hey.
Yeah. When you walk away like that it's going to be a new normal. I know you don't. I'm not blaming you at all, but it's kind of a new normal where if you
I should have muted the
if you step away from
audio.
the camera, you got to mute it, especially you because you've got other people there in the house with you, and also Nick, who can't stop whistling.
Was I whistling?
Oh fuck yeah, every time you go to the bathroom it's predilection for whistling while you're pissing.
Whistle while you pee.
I whistle all the time, so
yeah, so because of that you got to mute when you walk away.
Whistling's a sign of a happy person. So,
thank you, Joe.
It's a sign of a deranged.
I whistle a lot too.
It's a deranged.
No, it is. You can't whistle, can you?
Pardon me?
You can't whistle, can you?
Oh, I can whistle.
Good whistle.
What do you mean, good whistle? Like
a good whistle,
like Otis Redding, Dock of the Bay whistle, or what?
Yeah, can you whistle? Can you whistle like that?
Oh, with the two fingers in the mouth? No, I can't do that.
No, I can't. My mom does that.
I can do it pretty loud.
She's like, I mean, she used to do that to get our attention, like when we were yelling and screaming and stuff when we were younger upstairs. She'd stand at the bottom of the steps and she'd be like, and everyone would just shut up.
Oh, yeah. Okay, you don't need to do it.
All right, sorry. I can do it loud. I can do it louder.
I believe you.
Right. Listen, guys, listen to the whistle.
It's funny because she could do that, but she can't regular whistle.
Well, they're two different. I don't know. I could do one.
I was gonna say I feel like most people either can do one or the other. I don't know too many people that can do both of them.
I can.
Please don't show us.
You're a goddamn anomaly, Joe.
Damn, I'm good.
Corey, you said you had a couple things you wanted to mention.
Yeah.
That's actually. Oh.
No, you go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say that's actually a useless thing that I wish I could do because my mom used to always do it.
Do it with your pinkies.
With fingers.
I don't know what the fuck you're doing. So.
Pinkies.
Okay, pinkies in your mouth. That's not gonna make you whistle.
It won't.
There has to be some sort of science behind the positioning and everything.
You've never seen people whistle with. Oh, all right,
whistle
go
with all
ahead
my
and do it.
Okay. Not conducive for an audio podcast.
I know. Nick, I'll teach you. Oh, gee, thank you.
Go ahead, Corey.
Joe's coming up to me. No, put your tongue.
Go like this, you fucking idiot.
So does anyone else have a pick of the week? Besides, I know, Bob, you gave one earlier.
What was my pick?
Some show, I believe. I
do. I got one.
Some show?
Is it for everybody or just one person?
Everyone.
Oh, the Odd Couple movie. Bob's seen it, but you two need to see it. It's fucking great movie.
Yeah, it's really good.
Great movie. The original one. Walter Matthau, Jack Lemmon.
Yeah.
Going on with cinema and all that. Have any of you guys watched the prior seasons of Ozark?
Oh yeah, I saw.
No.
Are they coming out with a third one or a fourth one?
Third one.
It just did, right?
Ozark was pretty good.
Yeah, it just came out with it.
Jason Bateman and that one lady.
The third season of Ozark is fucking amazing.
Oh, it's already out?
Yeah.
Oh shit, I didn't even know that.
Yeah, it just came out. There's a lot of shit. HBO just released like 500 hours of their original programming for free. So you can get that if you're looking to try to catch up with, or maybe watch the first time Sopranos, The Wire, Curb Your Enthusiasm, all that kind of shit. It's not everything in their catalog, but it's a pretty big chunk. Epix is giving like the whole month of April for free. There's a lot of bands and musical, artists who are doing free concerts from their houses, acoustic sets. They're also like Dead and Company, Fish. A lot of those Foo Fighters. A lot of those bands are doing.
Pahish, I love Pahish.
Pahish, yeah, Pahish. Are doing. They're releasing free live streams of video of their shows, past shows for free, either once a week, or I think Fish is doing like dinner and a movie, and Foo Fighters is doing basically every band that they know who's doing a Skype session with other musicians are doing free releases for music, complimentary during this time. So it's kind of cool to see like everybody coming out of the woodwork to give content away for free while everybody's kind of stuck indoors.
Absolutely. My brother, they go to they're doing closed shows at a bar called Crazy Uncle Mike's down in Florida.
Florida, okay.
They do them every Friday. I'll remember to send the link to you guys if you guys want to watch my brother play live.
Yeah, I would love to see that.
It's pretty good. They're a pretty good band. When I went down, I went down there in March, and Mikey's band played, Sons of a Tradesman, and then they had a band called, I want to say it was called Products of Rage, and it was a Rage Against the Machine cover band.
Okay.
The lead singer was like the sound engineer for Mikey's band, so he was doing all the leveling out and shit like that.
Right. Dude,
he has like the thickest Chris Cornell hairdo from back when Soundgarden like first came around that you've ever seen. But they were pretty for a bar band, they were pretty he was jumping all over the place. He was going crazy. And they were pretty good. They were called Products of Rage.
Okay.
So yeah, if you guys want, I'll send. I think he's doing it this Friday too. I'll send you the link.
Yeah, absolutely.
Something to do.
trying to get through the last. I think I've got 2 more episodes to go. Last season, The Punisher, and then there's a few movies I want to.
Is that pretty good?
Oh
Punisher?
yeah, if you like, if you like, you're a comics fan and you like Marvel. There was a bunch of shows that Marvel did on Netflix for, Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, Daredevil. But John Bernthal as the Punisher is hands down the best Punisher that they've done so far. So it's really good. But who knows whether they're going to bring him back for, maybe doing like an actual movie. But anyway, I'm trying to get through that. And then I'll do a couple of movies before. I think the next thing is I cannot tell you how many people have given me shit for never having seen Peaky Blinders. So that's probably the next show I'm going to start.
Bobby, the only superhero movies I've ever seen was the original Batman with Michael Keaton, The Dark Knight, and Green Lantern. I've never seen any X-Men movies. You'll have to give me your top 5. Best,
I could do that right now.
Oh, all right.
Well, so let me ask you this. Have you given any thought to, so back in 2008, Marvel actually started their whole, what they call the MCU or the Marvel Cinematic Universe with Robert Downey Jr.'s Iron Man. That was the first one. And they did and basically over the next 20 films, they kind of told this interwoven story between all these different characters that sort of culminates in the Avengers movies at the end.
Yeah.
Do you have any interest in exploring that whole arc of 20 movies at all?
20 movies?
Yeah, I mean, you've got time. What else you got to do?
No, yeah, it's not that I'm not interested. I just never got into any superhero movies or anything.
Well, okay. So I guess I'll send you a link. Someone else asked me for this a couple days ago, this exact same thing. Where I'm like, no, you need to watch them in the order that they were released. So the very first one is the first Iron Man movie with Downey. That's the one you got to watch. And if you like that, if you don't like that, you could stop right there. But if you like that and you want to see more of what they can do with some of the characters, then that's a great place to start. And then I can give you the order for which, what order you should watch the rest in. So, what if I had to do like top 5 superhero movies? It's not in any particular order, but I'd probably go Dark Knight is in there for sure.
Guardians?
I'd go with the first Guardians. And then I got to go with Infinity War and Endgame for sure, just because of the fact that they actually pulled it off. And that leaves one spot open for, I don't know what the fuck I would put there. What did I say? Dark Knight.
Dark Knight, Infinity Wars.
Infinity War, Endgame, Guardians. I guess I'd probably have to go with the first Iron Man.
First Iron Man.
Yeah.
I'll give it a shot.
Yeah. But then there's other shit outside of that, like Deadpool. Have you seen any of the Deadpools?
I saw half of the second one, I think.
Half of
and I wasn't really paying attention, so no, yeah. I haven't seen it.
So, yeah, you owe it to yourself. Like those are great movies. Like where you're like, I can't believe they actually figured out how to do this as a movie. And I feel like we need to probably switch topics now because I've completely lost Nick and Cory.
Yeah. Oh, hey guys, we're still here.
Well, no, actually, one of the things I was going to bring up, it kind of does relate to the topic of movies and comic book movies and all that. Have any of you guys ever seen Comic Book Men on Amazon Prime?
Is it Kevin
Smith?
It's Kevin Smith. Yeah. No, I haven't seen it.
Yeah, so he opened up a comic book store or bought out a comic book store that these guys owned, and every week, every episode, they basically started like as a podcast and talk about what happened during that week, or what came in the store and all that. I kind of got hooked on it while trying to edit some of the video. It's something I put on in the background, and it's as nerdy as it is, it's actually insanely interesting. And like Kevin Smith is obviously a well-known director and producer of a lot of movies and all that, but his knowledge of comic books and like where everything started is absolutely amazing. And the guys that work for him are even a step above him. Like they can see just the number of an episode, or not even an episode, but a volume of comic. They know exactly what happened in it, what year it came out, who it featured. So it's absolutely great. You think of these guys as like huge nerds, but they all kind of go back now that they're all grown guys. They go back and talk about.
Can you mute Nick while he's fucking with us? Are you done, Nick?
Done.
Okay.
So even though they're all grown now, they all go back and talk about their high school days and all that when they were still huge comic book fans back then. But back in the 70s and 80s when some were in high school, it wasn't necessarily the coolest thing to be into comics. But a couple episodes they talk about how like they made these connections with like the jocks and the football players and all that in high school, like behind the scenes of what they're like. Oh, dude, you like this comic? Like, yeah, dude, it's absolutely fantastic. And they didn't know these guys were actually into it, and they became friends with them, kind of behind the scenes, just because of their love of the comics and all that. And so Kevin Smith went on with this. I won't say rant or anything like that, but he was just saying like, how don't take someone at face value. That he made so many connections with people that he never thought he would have been friends with or cool with, because he just didn't truly know them. And it was kind of like an eye-opening thing to me, because I thought back to my high school days. I'm like, it's kind of the same thing. And now, like, even what we're doing, it's dude, it can be considered a nerdy thing that we're this into doing a podcast and all that. But it connects with people on a lot of levels. So I don't know. His little discussion about it kind of really hit me, and it made me think about way back when and some of the people that you probably might have or should have reached out to and you didn't. And they might have liked some of the same things that you were interested in, and you just weren't willing to express it, or they weren't. So
how much have you had to drink, Cory?
Not enough.
I'm just kidding.
No, I did. I say it was actually very. I'm usually not an emotional guy, but it was heartwarming. It coming from, and especially from a guy like Kevin Smith. That's, he's world renowned. When you have guys like Stan Lee coming into your store to do interviews and a photo shoot, you're definitely well known throughout that community. So for him to kind of like reach down like that and talk about everyday things, you don't see it too much or hear about it too much. So
no,
I think I'm one of the biggest Kevin Smith fans that I know, but I won't take this time to wax philosophical, because you did a really good job about it. But it's a great story about the Jay and Silent Bob Secret Stash in Red Bank, New Jersey, that you're talking about, where he bought that comic book store, and he was thinking about selling it because he wasn't really sure what to do with it, but he didn't want to see it. He didn't want to see it torn down and basically turned into like a TJ Maxx or something like that. But then he took his childhood friend, Walt Flanagan, and said, "Is this something that you would be interested in doing?" And he's like, "Fuck yeah, I'd do that." And he's always had a deep history with comics. He's written several comics. He hasn't done the artwork necessarily, but he's written the plots for a lot of Batman comics, and he's always had a relationship with Marvel and DC, and he put Stan Lee in Mallrats with a guest spot, and you know, they returned the favor basically in the Captain Marvel movie from a couple years ago. The one shot of Stan Lee where, you know, Joe, if you're interested in following in the Marvel movies and you want to start with Iron Man and kind of move up from there, Stan Lee makes a cameo in pretty much every single movie. And the cameo he did in Captain Marvel, which I want to say is like 2018. The sole cameo from Stan Lee was him sitting on a bus where Captain Marvel drops into the bus trying to figure out who the Kree soldier is. And they pan over Stan Lee and he's reading the script for Mallrats on the bus. So there's a deep callback and there's a big connection there, which is really, really cool. And
well, and yeah, it's crazy too. Like you mentioned how involved Kevin Smith is with all that, but if you just know the movies and don't actually know like him or watch Comic Book Man, you don't see that. Like you would, a lot of people wouldn't know who Kevin Smith really is. That you just know him as Silent Bob, and you know, so being able to actually hear him on Comic Book Men talk about a lot of this stuff, it's eye-opening to see all the different things that he's actually involved in, how much of a reach he really has. I mean, because clearly Stan Lee didn't just pick that store to just be like, oh yeah, random comic book store, well, I'm just going to go there. It obviously had to do with the connection with Kevin Smith. So if he can get a guy like Stan Lee when he was still alive to come to his janky little comic book store, you clearly have some connections. Yeah, I mean, big time connections.
That's why I mentioned those couple of different things to give some of the callback going. Like the reason why he did that guest spot on Comic Book Man was because Kevin knew him back from when he was able to work out a deal to pull him into his Mallrats movie to do like a speech to Brody in the mall. But Kevin Smith is one of those guys where he plays to his base. He's got a very devoted, loyal base of fans, and he's not really interested in trying to bring in other people. He figures that'll happen if it happens, but he's like, I just want to make sure that the people that have dug the shit that we're doing, which is it's a very sort of inclusive mindset that would suit our podcast very, very well. The people that that like the stuff that we're doing, let's make sure that they get some payback from this, that we sort of feed them and continue to give them the things that brought them here in the first place. And I don't know if you guys have ever seen how many of Kevin Smith's movies you've seen, if you've seen Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back or, you know, Chasing Amy or any of those other movies, but there's the most recent one he did was Jay and Silent Bob Reboot, just hit.
That was actually pretty good.
Yeah, I still have to watch it, but it just hit Prime Video, and he financed all that shit himself. And rather than taking the corporate money for it, he decided to go out and do the road show where he basically went out with and shopped it around and did like a road. So he'd go to Detroit, he'd go to Cleveland, he'd go to Pittsburgh, he'd go to Cincinnati and show the movie. But rather than charge like $9 a ticket, he charged, let's say $22 a ticket, and you don't just get the movie. He comes out beforehand, introduces the movie, and then afterwards stays for it and does a Q&A. And his Q&As are generally regarded to be like very long. Like he'll do a Q&A for as long as you'll be interested in hearing him talk. Like it'll be like 2 or 3 hours he'll do. And that's how he garnered the interest. And he actually, with this movie, I didn't believe it when I read it, but he set a record. It had never been done with any movie in the history of movies, where he set a world record for the biggest haul, like a per screen haul for money taken in for on a per theater basis for the movies, because he charged. Thanks for taking that. Yeah, it's kind of freaky.
I was focused on your screen, and I looked up. I'm like, "What the fuck is that?"
Yeah,
he kept coming in and out
from the office. But he took in the most amount of money per screen for any movie ever because of the fact that he did a Q&A before and after the film.
Well, and just watching comic book men, like that's something you really get to see about Kevin Smith is, how engaged he is with his audience and his fans. He goes way out of the way. So he did a book signing at the store, and it showed the crowd that was there. Like there was 1,500 people lined up around the block, and you could see throughout the day of filming, like even though they were cutaway shots, you could tell it was hours later because when they first started, it was sunny as could be, middle of the day. And as things progressed on until the end of the, through the end of the night, all of a sudden it was dark out and he was still, in the back of the store signing books and talking with people.
Yeah.
And even some of the interactions that you saw on film, they were longer than anything you would see with any other celebrity. Like it wasn't just, oh, here, I'm Kevin Smith, let me sign this book, have a nice day. Like he was actually taking time to talk with these people and wanted to know why they enjoyed him, why they enjoyed his movies and what he does.
Right.
If you could imagine 1,500 people, if you're spending, let's say 5 minutes with every person, it's a long fucking day.
Yeah. Yeah. But every one of them, he does the same way. Yeah.
And he had no problem. And they finally had a guy come, the very last guy in line came up with a sign that said, "I'm the end of the line." And Kevin Smith went up and he was like, dude, "I'm just going to give you a hug." He's like, and he's like, I love you. He's like, whatever you want to tell me, whatever I want to hear, let's talk.
Right.
He ended up giving the guy, it was like a $200 gift certificate to the store.
Okay.
This is what you get on top of the signing and all that. You get $200 to use here. So I mean, and yeah, it's to see something like that, and especially to keep redoing it. You didn't just do it once like that. If that's genuinely who you are,
yeah,
and you're that big of a celebrity, like that's, to me, that it's fucking awesome, and that's why I continue watching the show now, because it's seeing these guys because they're very genuine.
Yeah.
A comic book comes in that I might not even have any clue about, but like Walt Flanagan, dude, there's been some times where like when Stan Lee came in, that, and then they also got to do a practice with the New Jersey Devils. Like Mark Messier was there, a couple other big names were, they're from the New Jersey Devils. He just had these huge eyes. His jaw was on the floor. It's like watching this grown man being so starstruck and taken back by what's in front of him right now. He's already a celebrity himself. He has his own TV show.
Right. He
doesn't need to be starstruck by these people, but he genuinely is. And when Stan Lee was in the store, and Stan Lee jumped up on the counter and was like, "The four of you have me right now. Ask me whatever you want. Yeah. We have an hour to talk."
Right.
Dude, Walt literally sat down in an Indian position on the floor as if he was sitting in front of his first grade teacher and just bug-eyed and jaw on the floor, and he could barely speak. Mm-hmm. So like I say, just how genuine it is and seeing how excited these guys are about what they do. It's nice. It's just nice to see.
This is a great connection that I didn't know that you had. I didn't know you even knew who he was, but it's pretty appropriate that you do, because if you ever got a chance to hear Kevin Smith talk about Wayne Gretzky and his love for the great one, the fact that he's obviously a Devils fan coming from New Jersey.
Oh, dude,
that would definitely appeal to you as a hockey fan.
Well, yeah, and their connection to hockey is huge as well. Like even in the show,
yeah,
there's been at least 3 episodes now where they've gone out back and started playing street hockey.
Right, and they started with Clerks, where they would play.
Yeah, on the roof.
It was like the last
Dorothy Hamill.
The last thing I'll say about him when it comes to that is I actually met him once. He does a shitload of podcasts. He basically started a new podcast for over 10 years. and started a podcast network with just a ton of them. And so Walt Flanagan has one. A lot of the guys in Comic Book Men have their own podcast, and we don't really know them. And this is we're giving him a lot of airtime here, and basically kissing his ass. But we ended up going to see one of the podcasts. It was Jay and Silent Bob Get Old. It was him and Jason Mewes just kind of doing a 2-man podcast in Boston. We went to see them, and they were up on stage for over 3 hours. And then at the end of the show, during the show, they took questions. There were a couple lines going, and they give you the microphone, ask direct questions, and it was never a short answer. It was never like a dismissive answer, like yes, and moving on. He would legitimately sometimes go on for like up to 30 minutes with an answer. And then he stayed after that for another 3 hours signing autographs and, shaking fans' hands. And to be there for, the show fucking started at 10 p.m. To be there for 6 fucking hours.
That's why I
Pretty
did.
impressive.
But like I said, again, that's what I've come to respect about the guy. And Comic Book Men was never a thing that I actually thought I would have watched and enjoyed. But it's fantastic. If you guys get a second outside, I know we always recommend other shows and all that, but if you get a second just to even watch a single episode of Comic Book Men, do it. It'll rope you right in. It's a group of guys that I said that they're living their childhood dream, and I think the connection for me, like I said, looking back in high school and being the football player and playing hockey and all that, like now where we're at with the podcast and how I'm like, oh, I love fucking editing video and all that. Like I never would have imagined having the aspirations I do now back then. So to have those guys make that connection with basically kind of like people like me, like back then, if someone was like, oh yeah, dude, you can do this and do that with editing video, and I would have been way ahead of where I'm at now.
Right.
But that connection was never made. So knowing that they did that and reached out to some of those guys.
Oh yeah, Cory, like if you could go back and start 9th grade over again, would you not have joined like AV? Yeah,
no, I definitely would have.
Right. Exactly.
That's something I
would have done 100 different things, if I could go back.
Oh no, and do try, and I wish I could go back and do that. I mean, yeah, granted, I obviously wouldn't have been the same person as them, or still even necessarily fit in with them, but I would have liked to be part of it and learned it.
Yeah, there's skills that you pick up.
Yeah,
I mean, they might not be your group of people, but like if I could do it over, I would have stuck with band, because I was in band forever until 9th grade, and I would have stuck with it. So
yeah, no, I definitely would have. I would definitely go back and redo it.
I would have said screw sports, and I would have stuck with band. Absolutely.
Oh, dude, no,
I want to kill myself.
I probably would have had a better opportunity, working with the AV kids, now, especially with what we're doing, over being on the football field. And don't get me wrong, I still liked it, and it was fun. I don't regret it, but looking back, it's something that probably would have been more beneficial all the way down the road to where we're at now. So.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Football is, or any sport's only going to take you so far, but having a skill that you can use to make money is a whole lot different.
But so the segue for that being, my now love for technology and trying to figure all this stuff out, and AV and video editing and all that. I was talking to Nick the other day about where it originated from. And Bob, do you remember the little Casio pseudo? I won't even call it a laptop. It was almost like a little calculator that you gave to me now 15 years ago, maybe.
Oh,
it's like a graphing calculature.
You still have
no, it? I know it's somewhere around the house. I would have to find it.
Was it a little personal organizer or something?
Yes, basically that's what it was. But it had a Windows interface on it.
Mm-hmm.
It was the size of. I don't
probably
even,
a graphing calculator, like a.
Yeah, but it also had a flip up screen to it,
Mm-hmm.
and it had a stencil that you could actually. It had a touch screen.
Yeah.
And the touch screen was all not even black and white. It was the green and black old LCD screen, and you could connect it to a computer, which I would assume at the time was only to get like your calendar dates and all that. Like there wasn't much you could do online with it, but it had a full QWERTY keyboard.
Okay.
And that from that day on, I think that's what, because I already wanted like some sort of laptop, and I always ask my parents, "Oh, can I for Christmas? Oh, I want a laptop." And they're like, "Ah, you're full of shit. There's no way we're getting you a laptop." So when you gave me that kind of made the springboard into where I'm at now.
Wow. Was it a Trio?
No, it wasn't even a Trio. And
Casio.
I don't recall ever owning a Casio.
Texas Instruments.
Dude, it was, like I said, it was a tiny little device. It wasn't.
All right, you're going to have to do some work around the house and see if you can find it, because I'm dying to see what the hell it was. But it makes me feel good.
So okay, so from what I could find, it was a Casio or compact.
Presario. No, not a Presario.
C140 Palm.
Yes. Yep. Yeah, I remember that.
It ran Windows CE. It had 4 megabytes of memory.
4
whole megabytes.
Yeah,
wow.
4 whole megabytes. That's all it had.
Yeah, it was cutting edge for its time.
So it was a compact.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, so a compact C140.
I remember it now. I want to say almost it was like the shell of it was like kind of a light colored or almost like a clear plastic.
No, it was gray.
It was gray.
Yeah, hang on. I'm gonna share the screen here with you guys, and
all right, blow my mind, Cory.
It's a piece of shit.
Weapon swing.
How long have you been working on your novel? 4.5 years. Oh, it must be real good. That's a piece of shit. I want to marry you.
Animal House.
Hey, Paula.
All right, so we're looking at Reddit shower thoughts. Always a good sign.
Nick looks bored.
Yeah, how do you remember that it was a C140?
I spent one night.
And how the hell does that fit in your pocket?
Wow, was that it?
This was it right here.
Basically, what Bob said is, here, Cory, you throw this away.
No, it was bad. No, that's it right there. That's it. Yep.
Oh, okay.
That wasn't it.
Oh, my dad had one of those.
I had one of those exactly.
You had that, but you that's not what you
gave you. I must have given you that older one so I could get that one.
Here you go.
It was literally.
I'm upgrading.
Who knows how old you were at the time? But
so this is a Hewlett Packard, but this was basically this was the exact version of what you gave.
Oh, okay.
And dude, I thought it was the sweetest thing ever. Which at the time to me it was. I'm like, holy shit.
Piece of shit.
I'm like, dude, I've been asking my parents for a laptop every day.
Right. This isn't one, but I'll take it.
Well, to me it was. Like I said, it was the greatest thing next to a laptop. And it had a full keyboard
for a supercomputer for years, and they finally gave me this pencil, and boy, the things I could write.
Oh, dude!
Mom, Dad, can I have a supercomputer here?
So yeah, that's like I said, it's not the exact one, but that's an
HP for the listeners. It's an HP palm top PC 360 LX.
Is that a hot wizard computer?
It's running the French version of Windows CE with the crazy keys where it's not like QWERTY, it's AZERTY. It's like AZERTY. That's the French for you.
Jerry got me a hot wizard computer.
And that was and the version
look at those
you gave me,
hookups.
the compact one that you gave me, it still had this. This is how you charge it.
Yeah,
you had to like put it on a little dock,
right.
Just to charge this little tiny pocket unit.
Cory, I honestly think that there's a pretty good chance that I got this somehow either through work or through a coworker, where like I never used it, but maybe I had already got a line on that compact iPack that you were showing, that silver version, like the handheld one.
Yeah.
Where you hold it like a phone, which was dead fucking sexy back in like 1995. And so I probably was like, oh, I'll just give this to Cory. Like this would be a cool thing for him to get.
Yeah, dude. I say when you gave me that, it was.
I just want to make it seem. I don't want people to get the thought, well, like, oh, at the time that was like $450, and I'll just buy that for my cousin nephew.
No, and clearly it was something that you could just you were about to throw it in the garbage, but you gave it.
I was clearly upgrading. It was the equivalent of you like getting a new Apple Watch today, where you're like, oh, Bob, how would you like my old Apple Watch?
Right.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, no, that's I firmly believe that's what kind of jump started me into the whole love of technology and you know, now having the MacBook I do and the iPhones and all that shit, I take it right back to you.
Well, this is a good bookend for the podcast because I took a beating at the beginning. Disney announcer voice and all that bullshit. So,
I say, Cory, at least you found.
End on a high note.
Cory, at least you found something that you enjoy, so that's good.
Yeah.
Oh no, and exactly. You know, again, I know you guys give me all this shit for. You know, I want to sit down and edit video and all that, but it's because
I never give you shit.
You haven't about it, but
it's the two of them that give you shit.
But it has become
because Joe, you're never around. Go ahead, Nick. Say it. I know you want to.
It has become a great hobby, and it's something fun to do. And hopefully once you know we get done with this whole quarantine shit, you know, going back to actually doing it all together, using Switcher. And getting that off the ground will hopefully be fucking amazing.
I love you guys.
Nick, you're awful quiet there.
Yeah, just listening. Just listening.
All right, well, I've got to. I think I'm kind of out of content. I got about 2:40 a.m. and it's probably time for me to jet out of here.
All right, we did go about
30 minutes over. Yeah,
mark.
Yeah,
if you guys want to wrap this up, that works.
All right.
I'm wide awake, surprisingly, but sure.
Well, we may wrap up the podcast, but it doesn't mean we have to end the Zoom session. So.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's fine. We can do a raging 20 minutes. Raging.
I just want
20 minutes of music trivia. But we use the hand raising app or thing.
Oh, Nick's not a fan of that.
I just want to put this out there. Something I've been kind of looking into. That BP and Amoco have offered first responders and healthcare workers 50 cents off gas.
50? Well, that's like 25 cents a gallon.
I was going to say it's already down to like $1.
Yeah.
While the COVID-19 thing is going on, all you have to do is go to their website and through an app called ID Me. You just upload your ID for your wherever healthcare or police department or fire department that you work for, and you'll receive a code that you can use when you go to the gas station. So big props to them. I think that's really cool.
So no pizza, guys. I see how it is.
Sorry, man.
Oh, well.
Maybe next pandemic.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, gentlemen. That's it for episode 67. This is Bob signing off. Cory.
Cory, you guys have a good night.
Joe.
Goodbye.
Hey,
Goodbye,
baby.
everybody.
Yeah, guys, if you checked out for the last 20 minutes, you weren't alone. I had no
Shut
idea
up,
what they're.
Nick.
All right, then.
Neither
I had
did
no
I.
idea what they were talking about either. So have a good night.
Nick, when I asked Bob to give me his top 5
Good night,
comic book or
everybody.
superhero movie, I didn't know it was going to last that long. I really didn't. So I apologize. Oh my
That's
God, that's
passionate
like
about
a
it. They're
25-minute thing. I'm like, and then Cory rolls in with comic book men. I'm like, what did I start?
Broaden your horizons.
Yeah.
So that's what you wanted, sir? You wanted me to just go Iron Man, Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, Flash. Done.
Yes. You didn't
Next
have to.
topic.
I didn't say, Bob, give me your thoughts on all of these fucking movies.
Well, that's when you asked me. That's what you're gonna get.
With extreme depth.
Mm.
I know, I'm just kidding.
All right, everybody. We'll see you next time.
Have a good night.
Good night.